everyone. My name is Trooper4907. And today, we're here for the culmination of the 2024 CTL season. In our third place, fourth place matchup, we've got a battle between Rutgers and Purdue facing off two teams who have never fought each other before to fight for the final spot on the podium. And in our finals matchup, we have a match between UCLA and Uoft to see who will be crowned the champion. Oh my goodness, it's caboozled pie! What the fuck?
And welcome back to the Collegiate Tetris League. My name is Cowbow. I'll be your commentator for today as well as Doue. But before that, we'll be into the pre-show here.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into the pre-show here and take a look back at all the things we've gone through, as well as some of the meme contests and other stuff that we have here for you today right before the pre-show, or right before the third place and grand finals matches happen. So we will be going to
Hello everyone, my name
is
Trooper.
The pre-show soon, and then yeah, here we go. So first off, we will be looking at our runner-ups, our two runner-ups, and our grand prize winner for the BenX Coaching Meme Contest winners. Now, if you did not know, one of our prize pool incentives was to have a meme contest like we did last year, showing off some memes that people in the CTL community have created about CTL. And just also like last year, the winner of the meme contest will be receiving coaching from legendary caster, Fortnite dancer, a very, very talented individual, BenX. So let's get into our first runner-up here by Chill Hopper.
やっと戻りました、お師匠様。お前の故郷でもお前の師匠でもない。新しいお気に入りができたとか。で、どこだそのポーは。逃げ出したかな。これは私とお前の戦いだ。
I'm the big fat panda.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Funny meme.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen that before, but that was fantastic. That was fantastic. Oh my God.
I'm seeing all these for the first time. Yeah,
This is the live Cowbow reaction. That was amazing. Oh my God. And that was only the runner-up, so you can only imagine what the champion of this is looking like. That was fantastic. Great job, Chill Hopper.
Great throwback to the UW versus Uoft rivalry from last year. And now we move on to our next runner-up, which is MX Mossy, our previous year's winner, actually. And we'll see what banger he's got cooking up for us this time.
All right, let's go.
So, Uncle, I've been thinking. It's only a matter of time before I run into a again. I'm going to need to know more advanced back-to-back if I want to stand a chance against her. I know what you're going to say. She's my sister and I should be trying to get along with her.
No, she's crazy and she needs to go down.
I'm sorry it has to end this way, brother.
No, you're not. That's rough, buddy.
Oh my god, all of these are so good.
Dude, that was amazing. I love how the pie is like the scar for Cow's face. Oh
Yeah,
my-
yeah, like from like Zuko from Avatar.
No way. Zynix in chat says it doesn't show Cowbow sleeping in the garage that night. That's oh my god.
Yeah, honestly, makes sense. But I think you'll notice a pretty common trend among all these memes is that it shows some pretty legendary rivalries. UW versus UFT, and then we had Zynix versus Caboozled Pie, the sibling rivalry. And now we have our final meme by Grippa showing off another rivalry, but you know, taking some funny shots at each other, I guess.
All right, let's see it here. Can't wait to see the winner. The winner.
Oh, that one is just so perfect.
Oh
honestly.
my god! Wait, I was not caught up with this. I actually did not know this happened. So this is 10 times funnier not knowing what happened before this. Oh my god.
Yeah, shout out to Cyan Cyber for being the butt of that joke. I know he's pretty good friends with most of them like you, so don't like. It's not taken too seriously, but yeah, perfect meme to.
Dude, the Twin Towers one, Jesus Christ. But a big congratulations to Grippa for winning the meme contest.
Yeah, and so Grippa will get Benex coaching for winning that meme contest, and all three of our top 3 meme winners actually will get a role in the CTL Discord, showcasing how good at creating memes they are. I don't know what this role will be called yet, but you will all receive a role at some point. So congrats on the Discord role to your runner-ups, and once again, congrats to Grippa for winning the overall contest.
Yeah, these players can't just make T-spins, they can also make some fire memes as well.
Alright, but now we get to the CTL awards for Most Improved and some other awards as well. So, first of all, Most Improved Teams by Glyco. These are the teams that gained the most Glyco, and surprisingly, the team that actually gained the most Glyco is our #1 team, UCLA. Cowbow, why do you think that might be?
I think it might rhyme with bamboozled Y or something, but I'm actually not sure about that one. I don't know. That's up to UCLA. It's something that no one can answer on that.
Yeah, I'm sure UCLA has a lot of resources and coaching for their lower ranked members, especially considering all their members eventually did end up hitting X, despite them not all being X at the start of the tournament. So congrats to them. And our second and third place Glyco gains are Wilfrid Laurier University and University of Notre Dame. Congrats to these teams as well for their great Glyco gains.
Let's go. Is it Glico or Glyco?
Glyco. I think I've heard both. Is it Glyco?
No, whatever. Keep going. just wondering. But yeah, with the most improved team by the Glico or Glyco percentage is WLU, UND, and Brown with a WLU at first place, 9.13%, pretty huge.
Yeah, a similar metric to the previous one, but this one's more proportional. So if you were lower ranked and made significant gains on Glyco there, you'll be featured higher. So Wilfrid Laurier University does make it onto the leaderboard here, and congrats to them honestly, it's really nice to see teams like WLU come out, and even though TL wise they might not be as competitive, they definitely gave it their all, and they had a lot of energy during every single one of their matches. They had a lot of team spirit, and yeah, we can see it in all their improvements. So congrats to them.
All right, and finally, the most improved player by the Glico is, drumroll, you have Krynal, Cosma, and Undying Fire as our top 3. Congratulations to all of them for their hard work. Definitely something that's really, really big for schools to have players improving, because we want to see that, right? Coming out to these.
Yeah, for sure. And it's no surprise that Krynal and Cosma are from Wilfrid Laurier University as well. WLU wins. And surprising, Undying Fire from University California Santa Barbara, I believe, UCSB. So congrats to them as well. Very impressive. And honestly, I think almost every single one of these players, not just the players listed on here, have been improving throughout the course of the tournament. And especially the players that are playing today. It's all been leading up to these 2 big matches.
Big matches like Big Joe. But you know what else is big? The big prize for first place. We have CTL trophies as well as badges for the winners of this tournament. I have seen the trophies in person. Who brought them to meet up, and I was like, wow, you brought 5 trophies for me? That's crazy. But they are nice trophies though. I'm impressed with the work, and the badges are also looking very, very clean as well. Yeah,
shout out to Zynex, who did design these badges last year. And hopefully we'll see some more people winning badges this year. I think University of Toronto already guaranteed a 2nd badge, but I think they're going to be aiming for the golden one this year instead of the silver. And not to mention supporter for all these players playing today. And big split of the prize pool, $400 plus for first place. And we are saying plus because there is still opportunity to donate, I believe, to the prize pool. So
yes.
Oh, and this is the prize for our raffle. So our $1,000 prize pool incentive, if I remember correctly, is the CTL exclusive figurine. And here we have a 3D printed version of our little CTL logo guy here. You can see some different angles. Very, very cool looking. Thank you, Clue, for the 3D print. And yeah, I believe one of our donators will have the chance of winning this figurine. So look out for that raffle later in the stream.
Yeah, I believe that it's a minimum of what, $5 or something to be eligible? Or 10?
I don't remember. Well, one of you lucky people who donated is eligible.
Yes. I think we should get a.
Hello everyone. My name is Trooper 4907.
But yes,
and today we're here for the culmination of the 2024.
We got some new blood in the CTL roster as well, so I think they've been doing a fantastic job. But we are here with the 3rd place match and the finals games coming up really soon. But before that, we are going to be bringing in a special guest to do a bit of analysis on the players that are possibly going to be drafted for tonight's game.
Hello,
right, welcome
Zynex.
to our special guest, Zynex. Yes.
Hello.
Alright, but yeah, so you want to give us a little rundown on what kind of stuff you're going to be doing for us today?
Yeah, so I'm going to be discussing the drafts for both of these matches. I should only be discussing this one first, right? And not the Grands match until later?
I don't know exactly what the schedule is for this one, but for now, we'll let production handle it. We'll just go over the 3rd place match first, then, if that's okay.
Okay, yeah, so what we'll see with Rutgers and Purdue is that Rutgers has Gigawatt Gaming, who's a very strong player that is going to probably almost sweep whoever they play against. On the other hand, Purdue has a very strong top 3 that will probably win strongly against whoever they play against that isn't Giga. So what we see here is that, one last thing. Purdue has the lowest ranked player in the match, Tuxedo Peng, who is unfortunately likely to be almost swept by whoever they play against. So
yeah, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you can.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say, So how do you think the teams are going to balance around the stronger and weaker players? Because as you said, if someone's going to get swept by anyone, what do you think the most optimal strategy would be?
Right. So for the most part, a lot of these matches are going to be almost sweeps. The exceptions to this are going to be mission failed against Wingo or Hirame or Rith Sage, and maybe Tuxedo Peng against Ruby. So what we have is Rutgers has to get 3. Well, either team has to get 3 wins mostly. For Rutgers, that's probably going to be Gigawatt Gaming against somebody. A different player against Tuxedo Peng, and they need to get as many points as they can off of mission failed. If they can't win these 3 matches, they're probably going to lose the match. So what they need to do is position Rith Sage and maybe Hirame, but preferably Rith Sage, into mission failed. Because if mission failed goes against anyone else, Rutgers is gonna lose. If mission failed goes against Ruby, that's another win for Purdue, and Purdue will have 3 wins. Rutgers loses. If mission failed goes against Gigawatt, then that's only 2 wins because they can't squeeze a win out of Purdue's top 3. So essentially, this comes down to a blind pick toss-up. So if Rutgers thinks Purdue will send mission failed first, then they should send Rith Sage to counter. And if they think Purdue will send one of their top 3 first, then they should send Gigawatt.
Wow, there's a lot that went into this. I'm looking through the notes, and it's like, wow. I think Zynex, you've written more than my essay, my final project essay that I did for my class, just for the draft notes. But yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot of like micro stuff to like make sure that I covered everything, but that is what it boils down to, honestly, is that last blind pick toss up. Personally, I think it is slightly more in favor for Purdue to send one of their top 3 first, because if they do that and they do run into Gigawatt Gaming, they do still have the win con, which is hoping that mission failed beats Hirame, which is not something that's like super likely, but like it's possible. Now, with that being said, both teams know that, so that also raises the likelihood that Rutgers sends Gigawatt first, in which case Purdue should respond by sending mission failed first. So it eventually just boils down to a coin toss. If mission failed goes against Rith Sage in the first round, then Rutgers is likely to win. If somebody else goes against somebody else, Rutgers is likely to win. If mission failed goes against somebody else, then Purdue is likely to win.
Yeah, if mission failed, then they'll get him next time, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I believe that we are actually have enough time to talk about the finals match as well, if you're okay with that one.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, so UCLA against Uoft. So I mean, Kabuzo Pai is my brother. I talked with him a lot about this matchup, like toward the beginning of the CTL season. And when I was initially writing my notes, I was going off those assumptions that I had made at the start. But things have changed a lot. Namely, Golf and Eggs, the other red guy, and Oxford Valley have all improved a lot. So this is a very, very difficult fight for Toronto. Pretty much all of their players need to be playing better than usual. And even then, it's going to be difficult. But I think what they need to do is they need to recognize that Giant is like a little inconsistent. So they need to hope that he's having an off day, and in that instance, they can forfeit round 3, I think, is the easiest path to victory for them. So we know that UCLA has opened Oxford Valley every single round up until this point. So what they can do is they can send, what Toronto can do is they can send Search or Meppy to in round 1 to get as close to a sweep as possible, if not outright sweep. And then, oh yes, before this, I should mention, because I don't think people covered it yesterday, UCLA's strategy has always been to send Oxford Valley first and Red Guy third. And then in doing so, they can choose the remaining 3 matchups. They will force Caboozle Pie against your best player, Giant against your second best, and Golf and Eggs against your third best. There is no getting around that if you beat Oxford Valley and Red Guy. And because most teams can't take 9 points off of those top 3 players, it's just a wash. UCLA stomps every match. But in this case, Kiwi Anime is actually able to take quite a few rounds off of Giant. And so what we have here is we can have Search or Meppy get as close to a sweep as possible on Oxford Valley, and then send in Kiwi Anime, which will prompt Giant to go out. And then in the third match, UCLA sends out Red Guy, which is retaliated with Chamusuke or Search. And what Toronto wants to do here is forfeit a 6-8. And in doing that, they can force RKY against Golf and Eggs, and sacrifice Meppy or Chamusuke against Caboozle Pie.
Yeah, definitely very interesting you brought up the sort of dominant 3 strategy, where they just have the force. UCLA has the force of who to pick. But yeah, I really don't know how they can come back from that. But I think that's really interesting to see the different kind of dynamics that come into play when it's a 5-player match instead of just 1-on-1. So yeah, definitely thank you very much for all the insight on that stuff. Do you have anything else to add? I guess your predictions are pretty clear. You're rooting for your brother, and it seems like they do have the advantage coming to this. But any other final closing
right
words?
So yes, actually, I think so. The issue with this is that Uoft has to get as close to a sweep as possible on Oxford Valley, right? But the issue with this is that it assumes that Oxford Valley is being sent first, which sounds like a safe assumption, but UCLA can swap Oxford Valley and Red Guy for like no cost. They still get to pick the other 3 matches.
Right.
And Red Guy is going to be a lot harder for Uoft to sweep. And I actually think that UCLA will break their streak of sending Oxford Valley first every match and send Red Guy first instead, because of this reason. I think it's very difficult for Uoft to break out of this cycle.
Yeah, some bold predictions for the draft, Zynex. Well, we are going to be starting our 3rd place match very soon. Thank you for all the insight and analysis on these 2 drafts. I definitely think you're one of the people who has thought about drafting in our format the most. And yeah, thank you for coming on.
Yep. Thank you, Zynex.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Bye.
All right. And I guess with that, we will be continuing on to the matches for this evening. We've got the sneak peek coming out from Zynex, but now we have the real thing right here. We are ready to play, and hopefully all of these players are as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think this third place match is definitely also going to be very close. And as Zynic says, I think a lot of it might come down to how the draft goes, obviously with the blind picking mind games and stuff, but also how these players show up on the day. I think yesterday, the Rutgers match against Uoft actually went extremely well for them. It was a very, very close match. And if they can show up well today against Purdue, they definitely have a big fighting chance here.
They can Purdue this. they can do this.
Okay.
We're getting it started, you know, it's only the third place match. We can go with the puns. It's fine, that's fine. Get the chat warmed up, and hopefully these players are also getting ready to warm up too. I believe that they are going to be selecting their first pick real soon. But in the meantime, I guess, Doue, what are your predictions for this match so far?
I mean, like I said, I think this match is very close, and Zynex did mention, like I mentioned earlier, again, how it is, a lot of it does come down to the blind pick between these two players, these two teams. But I think it'll be really cool, especially if we see some close matches, and if some of these players can show up majorly against some other players. Like, I think there definitely is opportunity for like the top players on each side to, you know, do well against each other. But yeah, it's gonna be a bit tough. Obviously, Rutgers has Never Say GG, Gigawatt, very, very powerful player, top 50, and yeah, there might be some, you know, options to perhaps sacrifice a player, or who knows, like if Purdue is feeling extremely confident, you can go for some crazy matches towards that side.
All I gotta say though, Never Say GG might be my my rival. I'm not gonna lie, not in skill, but like, Never Say GG. There's no way, dude. There's no way. Can we get a GG in chat if you say GG after the games? I'm just curious. You know, I'm definitely a GGer, but you know, yeah, maybe that's just me. Who knows?
Yeah, the monkey's paw's gonna curl, and you're gonna get people saying GG at the start of the game now.
Oh, man. No one's saying GG. Dowie, I'm dying. It's over. It's over, man. It's Purdue. What? What? There's no way. Oh, okay, no, now the GGs are rolling in here. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, there it is. There it is. So you're a GGer, right?
Yeah, I almost always say GG. I don't think I don't say GG. But like maybe if I'm like very distracted, I won't say it. But
right.
You know, I'm a always say GG guy.
I respect that. Yeah, you know, Zynex might be the pro for the CTL drafting, but I'm the pro for the GG GLHF flowchart. You know, if the other person says GLHF, I will always say GG. But if they don't say GLHF, I will never say GG unless they say it first.
Yeah, and I do believe, I think now that we have our blind picks coming in.
Oh.
According to our invigilator in the chat here, and I think the first match is going to be between Mission Failed and Hirame.
Alright. Oh, one could say golf and eggs. Okay, you know what? That's acceptable too. Yeah, it doesn't have to be exactly GLHFs and GGs, but you know, it's close enough. It's the spirit. But yeah, you know, speaking of spirit, both these players have a lot of spirits fighting against each other to lead off of their teams for this one. So we see both players pretty similar TR as well as stats, although Hirame does seem to have the minor advantage in both.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one of the closest matches we get here between these two teams. I think this is definitely one to look out for. And yeah, we'll just see how things go in this initial warm-up. Slight misdrop from Mission Failed, but, you know, again, like I always say, get the misdrops out of the way in the warm-up. And get, you know, that's actually it's the best time to misdrop. Get ready, get everything set for your setup. And yeah, just hop right into things here after the warm-up ends.
Absolutely, but don't you mean the Garbo quote, warm-ups are for losers, though?
Warm-ups are for losers, yeah. And we all remember what happened after you said that line.
Oh man, classic throwback. But yeah, back to the game here. It seems like both players are pretty equal to the board state. Although Hirame does have a bit more clean to work with at the moment.
Yeah, it does feel like both players are kind of taking it slow. Obviously, you wouldn't expect players of this rank to be playing at only 2 pieces per second, but yeah, with a slight misdrop in the warm-up, Hirame is going to take it, and we'll see if that translates into perhaps a win in the set and maybe things going down the line.
I think the warm-up, you don't want to go completely all out. Maybe if you just need to get ready for it. But like Doue said, you want to get those misdrops out at the start. You don't want to rush things. But now both these players are ready to play the actual game. Let's get into it.
Yeah, and I do believe this is actually a pretty important matchup because I think a lot of the future matchups will hinge on who ends up winning this very close set. And as we kick things off, we can see both players definitely have started playing much faster. Hirame bringing out the APM here, but mission failed. In good position to cancel and down stack back down to that well.
Absolutely. Yeah, mission failed is cleaning up the board quite well, and Hirame is now the one on the back foot. But they do have some clean to work with if we can get down to it. Mission failed doesn't want to let them get to it though, and they're doing their best to try to find a punish.
Yeah, some really big spikes from mission failed, causing Hirame to have to waste an eyepiece a bit, and now has to clean up a slightly messy board, but will be able to open up that well, sending a Tetris back of their own. And they're going to continue to be playing through this mid-game.
Oh, we love mid-game here, right? Yeah, totally. I love mid-game. That's a Cowbow quote right there. I love mid-game.
Yeah, mid-game, the longest part of the game for some people.
For some people, yeah. Not naming names
others.
or anything, me, but yeah. Oh wait, Hirame is thinking about some setups on the 9-0 well, but doesn't seem to do anything too fancy, opting to keep it clean instead. Mission failed, working to try to count up, but instead just opting to clean up the board as well. Both these players do not want to drop any rounds they don't need to.
Yeah, I'm noticing a surprising amount of just stacking up for these big 9-0 wells. Can be a very effective way of sending garbage, but also can be risky. Mission failed in a bit of a tight spot, but he's going to be able to down stack out of that fairly easily. And Hirame, once again, now with a big 9-0 well of their own. And we continue to
I'm
send
seeing a
APM.
lot more Tetrises than we normally see from players of this rank. Definitely not a bad strategy at all, but just something that we don't really see as often, I think.
Yeah, I do think part of it is the clean garbage just happening to be spawned near the edge of the board. And yeah, these players are taking advantage of it. Mission failed, doing a lot of timing here, I'm noticing. Did some waiting for garbage to be sent earlier, and was doing it again just there.
Yeah, more Tetris is coming up from Hirame. It seems like they're building up for another one. Still going. Mission failed a little bit higher up, but ooh, the SP's misdrop could be bad for them if they're not able to fix it up.
Yeah, he's gonna be able to cancel though, but spending the eyepiece there to clean up the board gonna mean that he tops out here. Hirame takes the first point.
Yeah, nothing too bad to start it off. Just one, but we'll see if that point turns into multiple after this round here. Mission failed going with the TKI. Really nice extension into a little 6 spike, sending Hirame to the half point of their board.
Yeah, now that these players are really building up for any extremely greedy or risky spikes, they're more just taking these Tetrises from the clean that is being sent and sending it back. But mission failed. Board looking a little messy, but is going to be able to clean up very nicely. Yeah, reaches the eyepiece in time.
Ooh, 12 spike from the downstack of mission failed side. Hirame does have a clean board though, and they are now wide open and ready to send some attack here.
12 spike, definitely not going to be enough to take anyone of this rank out, but Hirame there, board looking a little messy and can't get to the T in time to get to that down stack, but actually is going to be able to find the sequence to continue out of this one. Manages to open up the board, and looking in a good position, mission failed, does not have the resources on his side of the board to punish there.
Yeah, I'm saying I really like Hirame's down stack here. It seems very efficient, very thought out. They're clearly not one to rush any kind of placements. That shows that they're the slow, calculated kind of player.
Yeah, definitely willing to take the time in order to find those better routes out as we head into the 1 minute mark on this match. Last match, over 2 minutes. I do think this set is gonna go the distance in terms of length at least.
Absolutely, and mission failed trying to end it a little bit quicker with this back-to-back chain slowly growing on their board. Back-to-back 5, unfortunately for them, breaking. Mission failed has failed to maintain the back-to-back for now.
Yeah, but was able to maintain a lot of T-spins on that cheese, but none of those T-spins were any or for any kill purposes. They're more like just sending additional APM to pressure a bit during the down stack. But again, neither of these players are really finding those big spikes that can actually go for the kill. And as you can see, Mission Failed still waiting on these timing plays to try to, absorb garbage and use that as part of spike.
Absolutely, and I think it's really interesting how both these players' playstyles kind of counter each other because they're both slow and they're both calculated. But it just kind of cancels out until one player finds the better play to get ahead of their opponent here.
That Mission Failed finds a nice T-spin in the middle of the stack. They're going for the Tetris, but again, Hirame absolutely unfazed by it. While Mission Failed has a bit of cleaning up to do, he is easily going to be able to do that as we continue into the 2-minute 30 mark.
Yeah, Mission Failed doing a pretty good job of cleaning up. It's like, 14 spike from Mission Failed. Yeah, like when your mom tells you to defrost the chicken and you forget until she comes home, you have to do it in 2 minutes. That's like what Mission Failed's doing. They're doing a great job cleaning up. Actually, so is Hirame as well, though. Straight to the bottom of their board, not taking the T-spin, and instead going for a little bit of a downstack combo. Mission Failed does have a pretty clean board to fight back with as well, though.
Yeah, Mission Failed definitely did pick up the pace for a second there in order to try to push his opponent just a bit further, but I was going to say it wasn't going to work, but with that final spike there, it is going to shove Hirame to the top of the board, taking him out before the 3-minute mark and equalizing the score.
Yeah, very nice 16 spike from Mission Failed. We're going to see if we see more big attacks like that, because I feel like those are probably going to be the most effective plays in this kind of stalemate situation.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, whenever I'm in a set that has matches that go this long, I do start getting a bit, fatigued almost with how much like down stacking and counter spiking I have to do. So I think we'll see if that does become a factor for these players. Of course, we're still in the 3rd round of the set, so probably not a factor too much yet, but it definitely can get almost mind-numbing when you're only counter spiking and just skimming and down stacking.
Yeah, personally, I find games that last more than 15 seconds to be a little bit mind-numbing. Oh wait, a big misjump on Mission Failed's side. Oh, they can't down stack in time. Very unfortunate for them, but fortunate for Hirame taking the lead in the game.
Yeah, Mission Failed definitely wishes he had that extra 15 seconds to find the down stack, but will not be given that opportunity this time. Hirame had a much better position, but here we go with the PCs actually Mission Failed. Not going to be able to find a second one though, cannot continue that aggressive pressure. I definitely thought we were about to see a different kind of game here, but I think we are going back to the counter spiky style.
Yeah, I think that Mission Failed is a great board right now. Hirame sending over a lot of damage with a back-to-back 7, but not enough to top up Mission Failed.
Yeah, and ends up breaking the back-to-back there. I definitely think there was potential to continue to be aggressive, but speaking of being aggressive, Mission Failed, a lot of aggressive misdrops there, actually. Maybe aggressive isn't the right word, more like...
Like calming misdrops? 10 hours of calming misdrops ASMR to...
It's like how people say like a sickness is aggressive. Yeah, Hirame definitely stepping up the aggression.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, a 6 spike from Hirame there. Alright, TKI from Hirame going with some pretty good efficiency here. Back-to-back 2 is online, but a 12 spike coming from Mission Failed is going to push Hirame a little bit higher up.
Mission Failed definitely is capable of sending these scary sequences of attacks, especially when he pushes the speed, but I think a lot of the time he doesn't really maintain it afterwards, and especially since Hirame is doing actually a very good job of not dying to them, being able to defend well, and still counter spike well. And Mission Failed just not finding as big attacks as he probably would like to at the top of the board.
Yeah, I know. I will say that Hirame's offense is definitely doing favors for them in the score department so far. Even with these misdrops, Hirame playing a little bit faster than Mission Failed, almost a full piece per second faster, and utilizing that speed advantage to get more APM out.
Yeah, Hirame definitely in this round pushing the speed a lot harder than Mission Failed, and again, like you said, recovering from these misdrops in a very intelligent way. Unfortunately, has to cancel the T-spin there, but still continuing that APM, has been consistently slightly better than Mission Failed, but now in a bit of a tough situation, but reaches the eyepiece just in time. Very good down stacking once again from Hirame.
Yeah, I think Hirame just has that speed advantage at this point, and that allows him to make so many more decisions compared to Mission Failed, who's playing a little bit more slow and calculated. Not a bad strategy for sure, but if you have more speed, it allows you to just have more lenience on your gameplay.
Yeah, especially since I do believe from what I'm seeing that these two players have kind of similar styles in which they will wait and do a lot of down stacking. But if you're able to push the speed advantage when you have similar playstyles, you do usually end up coming on top.
Yeah.
We'll see if Harame can start closing out matches without Mission Failed having misdrops. And on the similar hand, Mission Failed does need to get some of those misdrops in order because I think those are a big part of the rounds that he is dropping in this set.
Absolutely. I think that the playstyle similarity is definitely a big factor in this game. Oh, back-to-back 4 on Mission Failed side with a huge spike coming through. I don't know. I think the offense of Mission Failed seems to be picking up if I'm looking at it correctly.
Yeah, once again, like we mentioned earlier, Mission Failed does have that potential to burst out this offense.
Oh my god!
It's not, oh my god!
Dude, the 23 spike from Harame, not enough. All right, it is enough. Sorry to top up Mission Failed for Hirame's 4th victory here. They only need 3 more to take the very important first game.
Yeah, Harame definitely finding a fantastic sequence there in order to spike out Mission Failed. And yeah, with that lead, I think Harame is definitely showing that he has the higher ceiling in terms of kill, utilizing that clean well extremely effectively. And Mission Failed definitely does need to find, I think, play potentially more greedily to find more situations to spike out Harame, because Harame, even though he's been near the top of the board a lot, his good down stack means that he's almost never really in a position of danger. I do say that, and now he is in a very major
a little
position
bit of
of
the commentator's
danger.
curse coming out. Yeah, it seems like Mission Failed has found the perfect time to capitalize on Hirame's unfortunate board state and taking a very much needed second round.
Yeah, definitely did have a very well-timed spike there. We'll see if Mission Failed can find any more going into these future sets. Yeah, Mission Failed throughout the set has shown some timing, but it hasn't really paid off until that set, and gonna be definitely looking for more plays. Now, only 9-0ing, but will they be able to find any more aggressive attacks?
Oh, 15 spike from Mission Failed, 19 to Harame, but Harame has a perfect down stack, canceling almost every single line sent. That is amazing.
Yeah, excellent down stack from Harame, but Mission Failed is still on the offensive, despite Harame being on the bottom of the board. And oh no, that's a really critical misdrop.
Top of the board.
Has the great sequence,
but Hirame's better.
Yeah, definitely fantastic piece sequence there from Harame, utilizing it very effectively. And Mission Failed now, kind of greedy at the top of the board. That's a pretty brutal eyepiece misdrop, but we'll be able to recover. Wasting an eyepiece in that kind of situation, though, definitely not what you want to see.
Yeah, I know, it seems to be pretty even between both players so far still. Mission Failed does have a misdrop on the board now, though. Not looking good for them, and Harame is in the perfect time to punish if they can find enough attack to top out Mission Failed.
Yeah, thankfully Mission Failed able to recover from this misdrop this time, but again, I think, like we've been saying, these misdrops for Mission Failed have been, I think, a big part of why he isn't able to consistently quite top out Harame. Definitely misdropping more. And even though Harame has been misdropping, I think the misdrops he's been making have been much easier to recover from in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, you know, when you get the light cough instead of the full-on COVID, whatever, you know, you can just recover easier. That's
Yeah.
The pro strategies.
No need to self-isolate at least for any of these players yet, but
yeah, there's definitely no self-isolation here because both of these players are on top of each other, doing their absolute best to get in their face and try to get some kind of attack, especially with this 25 spike from Mission Failed.
Yeah, and we've been discussing how Mission Failed needs to use his ability to burst out these attacks to his advantage, and finally will find it. I believe that was over a 20 spike big attack with some of that down stack will take Harame out, and Mission Failed, showing he's not out yet, leading, evening the score back up a bit.
Yeah, definitely a much needed point, right? Because, you know, the farther up your opponent gets in score, the more it must do in your mental, right? It's gotta be at least a little bit tough to see it.
Yeah, Mission Failed absolutely unfazed as he puts Harame in a bit of a tough position, forcing him to do a lot of skims actually to, not take complete use of that well. Very well timed for Mission Failed, whether intentionally or unintentionally.
Yeah, I don't know, it's still looking really close between both players. Mission Failed does have some clean to work with right now. Harame at the bottom of the board, building up a 9-0, but canceling out of it just as quickly.
Yeah, indeed, and
it's gotta be nerves, right? For while they're playing defensively.
Oh, for sure. I think Yeah, I do think this has come up in commentary many times before, but playing defensively, you'll never really lose. Going for something aggressive, you might be likely to win faster, but if you mess up, you will actually lose. So if teams do opt to play defensively like this, the matches will go on longer, but it is technically overall safer. But unfortunately, it can backfire, especially if you don't have the right pieces at the right time for when your opponent does have the offense, like what happened to Harame there. Mission failed, tying up the score.
Yeah, I do think Mission Failed does have the capability to turn on the back-to-back and just start pouring out some APM. But I think they're very wary about when they do that, I think. Just trying to find the best time for it.
Yeah, I think Mission Failed is gradually feeling out his opponent, Harame here, though. Starting to find out some better times for offense, but this is a bit of a tough board situation. Is going to be able to dance out of that. And yeah, both these players, I think, very experienced at playing at the top of the board, going for these. Oh no, actually, that's a really tough S-piece placement. I think they were trying to go for the T-spin single, but yeah, just did not work out for them.
Yeah, I will say a Mission Failed is a great way of capitalizing on Harame's board state, because even if they got that, oh, PC coming out, sorry, but even if they got it out, Mission Failed did still have a better board state, and they were ready to send attack, so the Plonk strategy is definitely working out for Mission Failed at this point in the game.
Yeah, and working out it is Mission Failed finally taking the lead off that last round, but Harame here with a lot of offense. Can Mission Failed cycle to that eyepiece? He will, but no Tetris means not much APM going out of that down stack.
I don't know, Mission Failed's preparing a spike here, accepting the garbage, and going into a super clean board. 20 spike from Mission Failed. Hirame at the top of the board, still alive, and Mission Failed cannot find a punish in time.
Yeah, Mission Failed, or Harame rather, able to cancel out and sense a lot of offense on their own. Mission Failed not really finding the down stack, which gives Harame an opportunity to spike further, but Mission Failed is actually doing so well for himself right now.
Yeah, definitely more back and forth for the Lions in this round here. Both these players putting on the offense and doing their absolute best to just out APM their opponents now. Mission Failed not speeding up too much right now, but just working on the down stack, cleaning up their board, and getting ready for the next attack.
Yeah, I do think the thoughtfulness of these players is really coming to show here. Both of them finding such excellent sequences. Mission Failed some, obviously finding APM in that down stack, that nice forecast earlier with the Tetris, and now continuing to send APM. Harame in a bit of a pickle, but is going to be able to get out of that easily again. At the top of the board, both these players are kind of showing their strength.
Yeah, oh, speaking of strength, Mission Failed putting the strength into the back-to-back combo and taking it to match points. Coming back from, I believe it was a 4-1 deficit for Mission Failed, but now they are on top.
Yeah, very good comeback from Mission Failed, and I think if you're Harame, you're definitely nervous, and nervous he probably is with that TP switch up on the TKI.
Yeah, Hirame able to fix it up pretty well though. Although Mission Failed does have the advantage on the back-to-back. Back-to-back 4 is now online for Mission Failed. Hirame sending over a huge spike, but Mission Failed does have the ability to cancel out.
Yeah, board in a pretty good state, looking for some pieces to potentially go for that T-spin, but sequence did not work out for him. But still able to find out some good APM with those down stacks.
Yeah, I don't know, both these players are definitely the edge of their seat here. You know, the match point is something you need from both sides. You know, you either have to just get that 1 point, or oh no! This eyepiece misdrop from Hirame is not good, but they find a masterful fix for it, and they're able to continue fighting on.
Yeah, but Harame's hesitation here is allowing Mission Failed to stack up so high. He's going to be able to capitalize on this well extremely nicely, but Harame actually finding that T-spin in the middle, but still misdropping.
Oh my gosh, Harame able to come back from 2 almost catastrophic misdrops to punish Mission Failed when they are not ready for it.
Yeah, there was some absolutely critical misdrop from Mission Failed at the top of the board. Maybe got a bit too greedy with that stack. Misdropping, of course, when with that kind of stack at the top of the board is very dangerous. And yeah, Harame still looking to come back here despite the misdrops.
Yeah, I know Harame's board state looking very good. 13 spike to Mission Failed, who is able to find a nice cancel and stay in the game.
Absolutely here, but Mission Failed now with the large well, not giving him to find too much of a spike though. Has a T-spin, has some Tetrises, but Harame can just send those right back. Still in a pretty solid position. Going for more back-to-back in the down stack, but is going to have to break it repeatedly, and yeah, back to down stacking, I think, for both of these players, mostly.
Yeah, you know what they say, step on a crack, break your mother's back-to-back, or something like that.
Yeah, Harami definitely not looking to step on any more cracks here in this matchup, though, especially when we are at match point. Instead, he will be looking for perhaps some cracks in the opponent's defense.
Oh, doesn't seem to find one just yet, though. 15 spike, not enough for mission failed. Hirame's still alive and ready as a clean board at the bottom here. Looking very nice.
Yeah, but mission failed at such a clean board as well. And I think how these next potentially 2 rounds will go is if both these players are able to capitalize on their own clean boards, as well as if they're able to leverage those in order to actually find a kill instead of just sending back-to-back that gets cancelled. Mission failed at 8 back-to-back, but close to the top of the board, has to break out as we continue in this intense round. I think neither player really wants to drop it. Mission failed.
Oh,
cannot close it out, though.
Tie-breaker on possibly the most important game of Rutgers versus Purdue here.
Yeah. Very, very crazy that we get a tiebreak in the first set. I think this is a sign of crazy matches potentially to come. Cowbow.
Absolutely, Doue, but getting into it, back-to-back 4 from Hirame is online. Mission failed, trying to get a nice spike and break it, which they do, but it is looking pretty close between both players still.
Yeah, Hirame doing a solid job of canceling there, and mission failed. Nothing really on the board to mount an attack. Same for Hirame, both at the bottom of the board. Bit of cheese on each side, but maybe they will be looking to establish something. Hirame made the washing machine for a second.
I was gonna say.
Obviously gonna break out of that.
But yeah, not wanting to wash out too early, Hirame decides instead to take the safer play. Playing really safe, I might add. At the bottom of the board, don't want to stack up kind of any higher than 4 lines here, it seems.
Yeah, I think if these players do continue to play it safe, which is honestly very valid strategy, this round will go long. But again, if any of these players misdropped, I think the other player will be able to capitalize on it. Not at the bottom of the board, though. Mission failed. We'll have ample time to recover from that, I believe, unless Hirame can leverage this large clean well.
Yeah, mission failed, dealing with some misdrops, not able to come back from it, and Hirame is taking the game for their team. Very hard fought between both players, but we have a player that shows their dominance, and that is Hirame.
Yeah, mission failed, unfortunately, will not succeed on this mission to defeat Hirame this time, but very well fought from both players. Yeah, like we mentioned, the misdrops from these players would be the key to, beating the other one, and mission failed, really unfortunate, just misdropped one too many times near the end of that last round.
Like, yeah, you know what you say, mission failed, we'll get him next time, yeah.
Mission failed, we'll get him next time.
Yep. But very close. I think it was interesting how they started off with sort of similar playstyles, and then at the end, Hirame kind of flipped it around and used a more offensive strategy. It's like when you go to the party and it's like, Doue, you're wearing blue? I told you I was wearing blue. We're using the same style. I can't believe it.
Yeah. Definitely, it is intimidating when you go against someone with the same style. Like, you don't want to be the guy that's, I'm that guy, but I'm worse, But yeah, I think very impressive mental from both players, actually. Mission failed, getting behind in the early game, but managing to come back, mount an almost very solid comeback, but also on Hirame's side, dropping that many matches in a row and still able to close it out in the end. Yeah, good showing, I think, all around from these players. And as we prepare for the next match, we'll see if Purdue will indeed be able to get them next time. I believe Wingo has been sent out from Rutgers' side, one of their many X ranks, and we'll see who Purdue sends out in response.
Resident Invim user. What is Invim? I'm not actually familiar. If anyone in chat could enlighten us, I'd be down for that. But they're an Invim user, whatever this means.
I think it is a variation of Vim. I mean, I know Vim is like a text editing software, I believe.
Oh, okay, one of those. Okay, I see.
Yeah, terminal-based text editor. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I know what Vim is. I mean, I should know what Vim is as a computer science student, but I don't really use it that much, honestly. So, yeah.
Yeah, I have no chance. I'm in crim. I write essays, man. Oh man. Alright, we have Wingo versus Tilbit. As an AI language model, I cannot engage in generating fun facts for a tetrio.
Well, fun facts for a single tetrio. Well, Just going off the TR here, Tilbit definitely has the advantage in this matchup. But again, anything can happen, and I mean, it definitely makes sense for Purdue to select this kind of matchup. They definitely do want to be taking back a point, even if it is a bit uneven. But again, I think Rutgers showed that they can stage pretty major upsets, as we saw in the match yesterday, where they went almost 2 points away from winning versus Uoft. And maybe if this warm-up is any signs of things to come, maybe they have a fighting chance against Tilbit as well.
Yeah, I will say that Tilbit is currently unranked right now, I believe. Yeah, question mark rank, never been there. But, you know, it calls into question how much they've been playing as well. So even if they have the higher TR, they may be slightly rusty if they haven't been doing more kind of Tetris or Tetris-based gameplay.
Yeah, for sure, but you cannot just let those... you can't let an unranked Tetris player... Can't count an unranked Tetris player out, I'd say. Especially since... yeah, both these players going for that PC on the first one. Either of these players will find the second and Wingo having some awkward misdrops. Both these players actually did also do the same opener on their warm-up. Both went for a TKI, so I think it'll be really fun if you see more of those, but likely not.
What we are going to see is a big 19 spike from Wingo, sending Tilbit to the top of their board, unable to come back from that one, and Wingo getting a wing up on the first round here.
Yeah, Wingo flying high into this match, won the warm-up, won the first round, definitely showing that despite the rank difference, it is nothing to be messed with. Tilbit going for a DT cannon, actually, very, I always say this as it's a very rare opener, and with the misdrops after that DT cannon on top of that residue, maybe Wingo can close out a second round right here, right now.
Yeah, Wingo continuing off their stick spin with a strong 9-0, getting into the back-to-back as well. Tilbit receiving a lot of garbage, but able to cancel off a good half of it.
Definitely, and I think as Tilbit, you're definitely going to be feeling the pressure, especially since compared to the slightly slower pace of last round, this round is a lot more APM, and that misdrop at the top of the board means Wingo is going to win a second round here.
Yeah, I don't know, Wingo doing a great job of improvising with their board state. You might say one is winging it, but hey, you know what, maybe I'm winging it too. Anyways, a stick spin versus DT cannon here, and oh, big stick spin misdrop from Wingo. Tilbit has a perfect time to punish. Let's see if they can find it here.
Yeah, but the thing is, Tilbit did not go for one of those DT cannon setups with an extended continuation, and actually, I believe, misdropped on their own side of the board after that DT cannon, so if Wingo can find this downside, it'll be crucial. Spending some really greedy placements there is not gonna be punished for it, while Tilbit still misdropping a small bit at the top of the board, but finally Wingo punished for that greed. The misdrops will be his downfall, and yeah, Tilbit still in the game here.
Okay, back to the stick spin versus DT cannon. I will say that I probably prefer the stick spin opener over DT. Unless Tilbit just wants to make me eat my words. Never mind. I was gonna say because of the TSS that the stick spin sends, it's a little bit harder to find the DT spike. But Tilbit's very, very fast with it, and they're able to find some nice openings.
Yeah, and I guess the one thing about the DT is that the spike comes out sooner than stick spin, and Tilbit definitely leveraging that strong speed advantage. There, Tilbit waited for the PC to send the PC to cancel as much garbage as possible, but it did put him in quite a dangerous position. I think we'll be able to dash out of it though, and immediately takes that round back.
Yeah, Tilbit really sending the message that it's not dumb if it just works, and they're making some fantastic plays, even if they look a little bit greedy to us.
Both players not getting that PC. I don't think there was a PC there with that PCO sequence. But yeah, we'll see how both these players transition into the mid game here with the PC. I think Tilbit, if given the opportunity to slam down the more and more APM, probably has the advantage as the more experienced and higher ranked player. But I think we also have seen Wingo able to throw out these massive attack sequences as well. So we'll see if that can come into advantage, but I think the other thing is that both these players have been misdropping a bit. Tilbit's slightly more, but able to recover from them very well, as we can see here.
Oh, Tilbit's putting on the pressure here, breaking the back-to-back, but continuing on the offense. Wingo almost down to their well, but not able to find the exact sequence they needed to survive, and Tilbit is going to take a 2-point lead.
Yeah, 2 good rounds from Wingo at the start, but unfortunately Tilbit going to be slightly better in these next 4 rounds. Again, same placement on that first back, both using the TKI, but opting for slightly different continuations. Wingo the one being pressured on the side of the board, but we'll have that spike. But Tilbit, very good use of the macro there to cancel some of it, and we'll send most of that right back.
Yeah, I don't know, Wingo is in a pretty okay spot if they can find a down stack here. but instead of downstacking, it seems like they're building on top of the garbage. Could be a way to find more leverage on your opponent if you're in a better spot, but it seems like they figured it out and started to go for more of a safe play and going down.
Yeah, and so many misdrops on Tilvit's board. Misdrop one after another. I didn't mention them earlier because I've seen them break out of these, but there's so many, and especially those at the top of the board, did end up giving this third round to Wingo. Definitely impressive coming out of those losses.
He's back to the game. Wingo seems to have a pretty clean board here, sitting at 12 spike to Tilvit, but oh my god, it's all in one lane for Tilvit. They have so much time to find some kind of attack, and they do. Back-to-back 2 is online. Tilvit back-to-back 4, continuing on the pressure.
Yeah, that wall was so disgustingly clean. Kind of an oxymoron, but it really was. But Wingo doing a pretty good job of surviving that attack, actually. Tilvit not able to find, a big sequence of Tetris and T-spins off it, so Wingo will be able to survive and has his own clean wall now to work with. But again, Tilvit just laying on so much pressure. Wingo definitely having to play a bit more defensively and work around the misdrops that he himself is making.
Oh, 10 spike from Tilvit, followed up by a 5, and it is too much for Wingo to handle here. Not looking good at this point, and this is the round that really matters to both players. It's either going to be closer to a tie, or it's going to be match point.
Yeah. And I didn't mention earlier, but these players, once again, doing like the same, almost the exact same placement on those first bag for the PCs, for the TKI. It's definitely very funny to see. But Tilvit able to come out on top of a lot of these exchanges. Doing some timing in the opening phase as well, especially. But again, it's still anyone's game, especially since Wingo has that potential to throw out these huge attacks.
Yeah, but, Wingo is not the only one with that potential. Tilvit also has some crazy ways of spiking and counter-spiking, as we just saw huge cancel from Tilvit.
Yeah, for sure. Has the downside out of this pretty messy board. Unfortunately, opting for a T-spin, nothing but that big piece at the top. Gonna be a bit messy to solve, but I think we'll be able to make it out. Wingo, unfortunately, not gonna find the punish there. And yeah,
Tilvit's survival, very, very huge from them to make it out of such a bad situation and turning it in their favor completely. Wingo now the one on the back foot here.
Yeah, we'll be able to do a T-spin single skim into that Tetris there to get out of that situation. And Tilvit had to spend a bit of the T pieces in order to stay safe, and now in a very dangerous position, but perfect down stacking there lets him reach the well. And now Wingo is the one with the weird board, opting for a T-spin triple. Very creative decision, but will it backfire here? The setup not good.
Oh, Wingo does still have the ability to survive here. Tilvit not getting out of that bad board state though, and taking it to the match point. It is not looking good for Wingo, but we're gonna see what they come up with. Or is Tilvit going to just take the entire game?
Yeah, the continuous pressure from Tilvit there is good, but this DT cannon misdrop is not good. That DT cannon is too tall for any piece to handle. But Wingo not quite able to find the punish, and Tilvit actually doing an extremely good job of recovering. Now has the massive well. Wingo gonna have to look for a bit of counter spiking if he wants to survive here.
Oh, Tilvit going for I forgot the name of that setup. It's like the skimming the TSS into the thing. I know the name.
I know what you're talking about. I just
yeah.
I don't know if there's like a specific name for it. I just consider it as like a T-spin single skim. It gives you back to back because it's a T-spin single mini, I believe, and then yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyways, back to the game though. Wingo is looking to be the one on the back foot, still not looking good for them as Tilvit is at match point. Huge TSC from Wingo though, looking very, very nice.
Yeah, but did create an eye dependency in the middle of the board. We'll see if this comes backfire in the future, but a lot of unfortunate sacrifices on the piece placements there for Wingo, putting them in an extremely dangerous spot, and I think this is going to top him out.
Wingo at the top of the board, not able to get down in time, and Tilvit is going to be taking the game. Very, very, very well played. I'm going to look up that thing. It's like bugging me. What was it called?
Well, while you find out what that is called, I do think Purdue is going to be trying to find out who they send as their third player here. Definitely took that round very confidently, despite the 2 hiccups at the very beginning of the round. I think Tilvit definitely found their footing after warming up a bit, not just from the warm-up, but from those first 2 rounds, and was able to find that stable APM in order to burst out Wingo in a lot of those rounds. Wingo, I think, definitely did do a good job of surprising Tilvit in the first few rounds, but Tilbit, I think, as the higher ranked player, did manage to stabilize and was able to mount some really good recoveries despite the many misdrops.
And I will say, Evir in chat says Yoshihiro. That's the one. Yes, that I remember now. Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. Because I had it in a prior tournament thing.
Yeah.
TSS into the TSD setup, and someone put in chat. I think it was Beat, and I was like, I'm gonna remember that, and then I didn't. But you know what? It's okay. Now getting back into the match, we have pretty close between both players, but you know the lead is only 3 points. Not the biggest thing, but as a reminder, the winning team gets 8 points for their victory, not 7. Due to the rule changes for this CTL format, winning players do get an extra point for the team, so that could be slightly bigger for them.
Yeah, for sure. Epic Uoft here, being sent out by Purdue. Definitely one of their strongest players, but we'll see how Rutgers responds here. As the team that is slightly behind at the moment in terms of points, there's a bit of pressure on them. Do they go for the dominant matchup with the Never Say GG Gigawatt here, or do they perhaps send out someone for a potential upset? And is going to send out Ruby D6, so perhaps trying to take as many points as possible, but again, as we know, the third round is a big part of the crux of winning or losing these matches, as it decides the rest of the draft. So I definitely think this was a pick with that in mind.
And I will say that Ruby D6, About Me with the DPC enjoyer is very relatable, I must say. But yeah,
honestly,
nice
if there's any big way for a lower ranked player to take big matches off another player, it's with a surprise DPC at the beginning. I think definitely that is a very powerful tool that any player has in that arsenal can use to great effect, especially if misdrops happen. We've seen it from the Tilbit in that last round, and yeah, we'll see if a Ruby Disa can take advantage of that to take some points. Again, it is a pretty big rank disparity between these two players, but we've definitely seen bigger upsets.
Yeah, and I will say, at least in the warm-up, seems like Ruby Desa keeping pace and even taking the warm-up victory over Epic.
Yeah, but I think definitely for sure Epic Uoft saving some of that energy for this round. And if I were Purdue here, I think I'd want to win perhaps as dominantly as possible. You have the slight point lead. And honestly, if you're letting Epic Uoft lose this round for whatever potential drafting reason, it's probably not an excellent play, especially since, again, the rank gap is so big between Epic Uoft and Ruby here.
Yeah, I mean, we've both seen big upsets in CTL, so, anything can happen. And it seems like you're going for the first PC of the match. Ruby Desek finding the SDPC and the DPC, but not enough to get the PC for the second.
Yeah, one line of garbage there by Epic Uoft stops the DPC in its tracks. Definitely probably would have kept going, but I think just doesn't quite have that, blistering DPC speed that some U-Rank players have.
Was that directed at anyone, or?
Not anyone specifically. I do know a couple people that have, extremely fast DPCs.
Oh man, but we got some extremely fast mid-game coming out from Epic Uoft. 2.7 taking their first round here.
Yeah, for sure. And it's going to be, hopefully very effective play from both of these players there. I'm noticing an MS2 on Ruby D6 side. Big MS2 fan, I know, Cowbow.
But unfortunately for them, not enough to do too much damage to Epic Uoft. Instead, giving them some pretty clean garbage to counter spike off of.
Yeah, but nothing that'll get them killed. Epic Uoft taking this game, honestly, relatively slowly.
Epic Uoft does have a pretty clean board, but so does Ruby. And I don't know, both of these players are gonna look for an opening to find a nice spike off of.
Yeah, and continuing to the rest of this round. Yeah, again, playing surprisingly slow. I feel like Epic Uoft could be playing a lot faster in terms of being able to close these out, but again, I don't know if it might be part of their strategy or anything to perhaps take things slowly instead.
Right. I mean, I would say they also might not need to, right? Because if you're a more efficient player, And if you already have the speed advantage too, they do have 2.7 versus 2 DPS. They don't really need to speed up unless you're bursting for a certain spike or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. There's no need to take unnecessary risks when you're in this kind of situation. But again, assuming you'll just win by default is kind of overconfident, especially again since we did see Ruby Decent take the warm up, and with good enough play, could take more matches down the road.
Yeah, I don't know. Ruby Decent doing a pretty good job in general, just rank disparity and all, to keep on fighting. It is still only the second round in this game so far, and both these players seem to be pretty equal, I must say.
Yeah, again, definitely surprising considering the rank gap between these players, but who knows? Epic Uoft might be holding back just very slightly. As we did mention before, although Ruby now has the massive potential well to work with. Not gonna be enough to talk about Epic Uoft, of course, but yeah, these miss drops, not exactly what you want to see close to the top of the board.
Definitely not. Ruby Decent breaking the back-to-back though, very unfortunate for them, and Epic Uoft could be the one on the offensive side now that they have all of this clean to work with. And it's still close to both players. 9-0 well from Epic Uoft coming out. Back-to-back 1 is now online, but we don't know if they're going to keep it yet or not.
You know, and as you say that, some massive back-to-back attacks coming out. But again, not quite enough to top out Ruby Decent here. Ruby, again, very good job on the survival, especially against an X rank, and continuing to take things slowly. Cannot find very good placements for those next few pieces, and actually this might result in a top out.
Oh yeah, Ruby Decent's down stack looking a little bit rough here, unfortunately for them. But wait! Oh my god, they're still alive. Ruby Decent, the master of survival here, it seems, able to keep on fighting, and Epic Uoft does not have the punish they need to close out their much-deserved round.
Yeah, finding some very good skims there at the top of the board in order to perfectly, stop the incoming garbage and make it out there, opening up the well of the Tetris there. And as we head into the 3.5 minute mark, it's again very surprising that Epic Uoft is stalling out these rounds so much, but I do think it's still within valid play, and yeah, you will find the top out there, having had enough of that round.
Yeah, I don't know. Epic Uoft is playing fast though. I don't really think they're letting up at all. It's just Ruby Decent's survival is amazing to keep them in the game despite all of the damage that Epic Uoft is pouring out.
Yeah, definitely. That is definitely part of it. Yeah, credit where credit is due for Ruby Decent, but yeah, Epic Uoft again just playing very patiently. Do you think this kind of extends to perhaps a strategy that they've been using for a while, like playing patiently against lower ranked players? Do you think that might even buy time for the rest of their players to mentally prepare for their own matches?
I mean, or maybe if you have someone
too far in terms of macro.
I think that might be a little bit too big of a macro play, unless you have a player that's specifically like, yo, I'm downloading my
opponent's replays right now. I'm reviewing them
downloading the replays. I need to analyze 4,000 hours of Tetra League in order to find the optimal.
Yeah, they have their sub on call. They're like, okay, let's stall this one out, guys. I'm studying the replays. I'm studying the match draft. I'm calling up Zynex, asking for some draft tips.
Yeah. The full-on conference meeting, meeting with Zynex. So how much we talking this time?
Oh, that's a nice PC there.
Ooh, Tetris PC from Epic Uoft into the DPC. Ruby Decent is able to survive it pretty well, though.
Yeah, the single line, the killer of all DPCs, and now Epic Uoft with the really messy board state. If Ruby Decent can top this out, that's going to be a very major point win for them. But unfortunately, not going to be able to get it in this case. Finally finds the large well there, and Epic Uoft is with a bit more cleanup, very safe.
Yeah, Ruby Decent finding a nice down stack. Epic Uoft at the top of their board. Eyepiece a little bit farther away than they'd like, and they have to skim a little bit, but they're still doing okay, able to open up their well.
Yeah, Epic Uoft now picking the speed back up. Already more than 1 PPS faster than his opponent here. And yeah, just gonna have such nice well placement. That's a very nice well that just spawned for Epic Uoft. But again, not able to top out Ruby Decent quite yet. The survival, especially at playing at much slower pace, is very impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it goes to show how good you are if you're able to keep up with your opponent despite the speed difference, because you must have at least some kind of macro play or just timing in general to keep up with that.
Yeah, continuing into the rest of this match. Yeah, again, very, very slow play from both of these players. I think I've said that like multiple times, but that's all really I can think of. And again, Epic Uoft isn't playing slow at all, but the survival from Ruby is just so impressive. But again, good survival, like, although it will not lose you the match, it's still gonna not win you the match. But I think it would be really hard for Ruby to actually find an opportunity to kill him outside the opener if, you know, he isn't able to get those DPCs off.
Yeah, oh wait, these misdrops on Ruby Desic's side are looking a little bit bad for them. Suspicious looking setups, but able to fix it up quite well, and it's back to an even state between both players.
Yeah, definitely a bit of modern art there on Ruby D6 side, but it's at the bottom of the board, and if the modern art is at the bottom of the board, you got time to, you know, take a look at it and enjoy it.
Exactly. You gotta make sure
you
you look at the underlying meanings. Like, you know, this misdrop means it represents the fragility of life in a Tetra League game and how it can change in an instant, you know, like that kind of.
Yeah, analyze the themes of why the Z piece was placed here instead of somewhere that doesn't create a hole, you know.
Yes, and then in the background, the teammates are analyzing the themes of the 20 million Tetra League plays in the background while they're stalling for time.
Yeah, speaking of stalling, Ruby D6 needing to do a bit of downstacking in order to get out of that tough situation, but Epic Uoft matching misdrops on their side of the board, not able to punish with that with any sort of top out or anything. And although Ruby D6 at the bottom of the board, that means Epic Uoft has plenty of time for himself to get to safety. But as I say that, Ruby stepping up the pressure and I think is going to be able to take this round. No eyepiece in sight for that well. Ruby finally on the board.
Yeah, Ruby's offense there was really, really nice. I think we can see them playing very cautiously for the whole time, but as soon as you put Ruby into a place where they have the priority to make plays, they can absolutely take those.
Yeah, big all clear from Epic Uoft, but an SDPC, I believe that's an SDPC spin, correct me if I'm wrong.
SDPC, yeah. They found a TST off of the regular SDPC. Quite a nice set. Not too common, but quite nice.
Yeah, but this round completely different from the other round. A lot more explosive mid-game, or rather as we enter the mid-game. And Epic Uoft now with the clean stack, going to be trying to convert that into a kill, but I think at this point both players have stabilized as we enter potentially another long ruling round.
Oh, unless Epic Uoft 15 spike, sending Ruby Desic to the top of their board, but Ruby is still alive and continuing to find the downstack here.
Yeah, very impressive survival there from Ruby. Again, I do think the slow and steady gameplay is paying off when it comes to these defense situations, being able to find those perfect sequences to stall out the garbage and survive. But it definitely is not really helping in the terms of, you know, using that opportunity to find an extended attack. And despite them winning the last round, again, I think they are sort of struggling with finding, you know, any sort of aggressive, potentially killing attacks.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, though, Epic Uoft is definitely doing their best to try and find them, though. With this back-to-back 3 online, they're unfortunately breaking as Ruby Desic sends a huge spike over to Epic Uoft.
Oh, but, that's a critical
Epic's big CP's misdrop. Unfortunately for them, not able to downstack in time, and Ruby Desic takes their second round.
Yeah, not very epic.
Not very epic, yeah, indeed. Oh, man. Easy from Epic Uoft. Ruby Desic at the top of their board, though. A lot of clean to work with. Let's see what they do with it. 17 spike to Epic Uoft, who cancels very, very nicely, but not enough cancel in order to get out of Ruby Desic's attack.
Yeah, definitely a rough round there from Epic Uoft, and Ruby actually taking a third round, evening up the score. This is huge for Rutgers, in my opinion.
Yeah, Ruby's doing absolutely what their team needs here by taking these kind of rounds. Very, very big. Wait, oh, what was that spin from Ruby? That was insane. I did not know that would spin. But very nice, nice fix from the board state.
Yeah, Ruby definitely showing their power here as despite being a potential underdog. Going for a nice fractal at the bottom of the board. Very efficient setup there. But Epic Uoft has their own huge well to work with, going to be able to send that right back. And yeah, I think Ruby's actually been playing these early games surprisingly well. Epic Uoft trying to come out with these, you know, big, really fast PCs, which does counter the SDPC, which takes a bit longer to get going, but not really able to kill off of it. And as we did see in that last round, the miss on or the round before, struggling with that PC at the beginning of the round can have really bad consequences for Epic Uoft. So they will play this mid game. I would say slightly safer, but now the messy state of the board means that Ruby is actually going to go up 4-3.
Yeah, Ruby Desica against all odds, the underdog coming back, and does have a 1-point lead. I won't say it's the biggest lead, but for Ruby, it's probably pretty huge, especially with this MS2 coming out from Ruby's side.
And MS2 especially, since Epic Uoft not able to really pressure that MS2 further. I do know that MS2, you know, at least for me personally, if I do it too slowly and my opponent has those fast PCs, it is really hard to pull off. But yeah, Ruby leveraging the clean garbage along with the MS2 C-spin in order to send counter spike. And yeah, I do think the fact that Ruby is taking so many points is going to be really rough for Purdue, because Purdue still have Tuxedo Peng left to send out, and even if they win this round, the overall drafting, you know, it's going to be tough unless, again, one of these players is able to really, really outshine the other. Which...
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking tough. In the rounds where you have a higher ranked player, it is absolutely their duty to beat whoever is lower ranked. But you know, sometimes it doesn't happen. Your opponent shows up cracked out of their mind like Ruby Desic, and all you can do is do your best to even take a win, even if you can't take as many points.
Yeah, definitely. And Epic Uoft doing some, you know, clears at the top of the board, but again, I think the fact that he isn't really able to find these attacks that can actually kill in these matches is causing a lot of struggle for him. And I think, again, as a higher ranked player, you may not have to play as aggressively as you would against other players, but in the same vein,
ooh, the spike from Epic Uoft showing that they're still in the game, sending it 4-4. Ruby Desic, not in too much trouble, I will say.
To get away with that, and Ruby now timing these
oh wait, Epic Uoft with a garbage Tetris PC into another Tetris PC. What? The double Tetris PC. That is insane. Wait.
Yeah, finally getting those early PCs.
Oh, it could.
Oh, is everything good?
I think the stream might have died. Maybe it's mine. But yes, continue. PC from Epic Uoft, sending over to Ruby, and Ruby is doing their best to find a down stack, which they do into the clean well here.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone can hear what's happening on stream right now, but just imagine some very crazy, intense, perfect clears from Epic Uoft.
I'm gonna commentate in chat.
Yeah, commentate in chat. Epic Uoft open up with some PCs, doing some zooming out at the bottom of the board. Both players playing very safe.
I'm just gonna type in chat.
Yeah,
I think this is really funny.
Keep talking chat. It's still 4-5. Epic Uoft near the top of the board, but still pretty clean. What are we seeing here? He's been single, but has to break back to back from Epic Uoft. Epic Uoft, huge spike against Ruby. Here, Ruby sends to the top of the board, but Ruby able to open back up, counter spike completely, canceling things back. And here we go, Epic Uoft. A huge push up at the top of the board. This is looking really bad for Epic Uoft here, but Epic Uoft finally able to make it out. There's a nice T-spin single to recover as we continue into the rest of the mid game. All right, Epic Uoft finding some Tetris and T-spins on the way down, but again, both players playing super safe once more, so not really able to find anything
crazy. She's back. Oh, okay. Oh, we're back. Okay, Ruby.
Are we back?
Able to find a counter spike here, and keeping the board even between both players. Apologies for the technical difficulties, but we are back with CTL.
Okay, glad to be back. I love watching Tetris live instead of on text. I know it can be really exciting to view in text, but definitely much more exciting to watch live from, you know, actually able to see the pieces drop. And as we can see, we are entering another 2-minute round with both these players in an intense situation. Ruby not able to get that T-spin there, but definitely good decision to cancel out of it. And,
big spike from Epic Uoft though. Ruby Desic at the midpoint of their board, but they have a lot of clean to work with still.
Yeah, and I think definitely no matter who ends up winning the set, it is a really big testament to Ruby's survival skills and just general improvement, you really would not expect the U rank to be doing so well against a person who, for all intents and purposes, is like a high X rank, very powerful player.
If I ran into Ruby in Tetra League, I'd probably cry. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
like this person's in mid U. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah, exactly. Epic Uwik is showing that they are still the higher ranked player, and no, stream is not lagging. They just played the entire time Gunnar was gone. It is 4-6 currently.
Yeah, and Epic Uwik definitely looking to close this one out without dropping any more points. I believe that was a reliable TSD, and now entering almost a mech TSD sort of situation, just non-stop TSDs back to back.
Wait, but Ruby's
break out of this.
survival! Ruby is still alive and kicking, able to counter off all of Epic Uwik's attack, but a huge spike coming in, still alive from Ruby, but Epic Uwik is going to take the game regardless. Holy.
Yeah, very good survival on that mech TSD from Ruby, but it is not enough. Epic Uwik finally closing out that victory with a few more attacks. And yeah, that's going to be it. Epic Uwik winning this round, but Ruby having lost this round, but taking 4 points off a much higher rank is going to be very impressive. And what is also going to be extremely good for Rutgers is the fact that they get counterpick for not just the next match, but effectively the last match as well. So yeah, basically Purdue needs to play out of their minds.
Hey, you know what? We've seen even crazier things happen at CTL, and speaking of crazy things, the Tetris garbage PC into another Tetris PC was disgusting. That was crazy. I can't believe we saw that earlier.
Yeah, an absolutely insane play from Epic Uwik's side. But yeah, I think if I were Purdue, I'd be pretty worried. I'd be trying to, look for the super serum to try to juice my players up so they can take down Rutgers, arguably unstoppable remaining X ranks. Because I think Rutgers' last two plays are their top two, no?
I think so. But you mentioned that, breaking news here at Tetrio News, CTL has had a doping scandal of players taking performance-enhancing pieces. We will more news at 7.
You think that's actually been an incident before, like gamers taking performance enhancements?
There's
like,
no
think
way.
That's actually a thing? Like maybe if they drink
before the game, you take your branded Tetris mug and you fill it up with gamer juice and.
Yeah, you take your unbranded gamer supplement drink, you mix it in your cup, you drink it. Suddenly your APM increases by 100.
Yeah. It seems like the D rank player is creating a trinity at the top of their board, setting up for crazies. So funny.
Oh, just imagine how much TR you gain.
Right? But here at CTL, we keep it clean, just like the board states, and all these players are playing with their natural skills here. Oh man. Also, in chat, yes, I did unfortunately already perform the live I Will 4 Wide, but maybe if you ask me on my stream, I'll sing it for you nicely. Who knows? But yeah, here in this game here, we have 2 players on each team left, so it's 2 more games. It's really just coming down to this here. I don't know.
And yeah, I think the matchup has been settled. Tuxedo Pang has been sent out by Purdue, and I keep forgetting how to pronounce this. Rithsagia. I am so sorry.
Hang on, wait. How pronounce?
Rithsagia. Okay. Good. Rithsagia, fun fact, I like Hatsune Miku. Yeah, I was at the Miku Expo in Vancouver the other day, actually. It was a
I
great
heard they had
time.
some issues with the TV or something, right?
Yeah, or I think people were unhappy that there was a hologram, but yeah, I mean, understandable, but I had a great time overall. And everyone I went with also had a great time. Plu was there, shout out Plu.
Yo. And hey, you know what? If you in chat donate $1 billion to the prize pool, Doue perform Hatsune Miku live. Totally real.
I do that for free. Okay, I'm joking.
You do it for free?
Not on the stream though. Maybe next year's CTL prize pool incentives.
Alright, hey, you know what? Good to know. We have a lot to look forward to, especially in this game right here. Rithsagia fixing up their board state pretty nicely. And same with Tuxedo Peng. Both these players looking to find some sort of way to clean up a little bit.
Yeah, and honestly, again, huge uphill battle for Purdue. But, you know, I think if Ruby's performance in the last round was anything to look at, I think Tuxedo Peng, as also a slightly lower U-rank player, will have the potential to go for a crazy upset like Ruby almost did.
Yeah, I don't know. At the very least, Tuxedo coming in with a nice dress code, I will say. You know, as someone that wears unnecessarily formal clothes for Tetra commentary, I respect that.
For sure. Love to wear a tuxedo. Honestly, like, you're dressed up way better than I am for this commentary. I just found like a shirt in my closet.
Dude, there's no need. You make up for it. See, when I dress up, it's making do for the poor comms. But here with the Doue comms, you know, you're on it, man. You don't need the clothes.
Yeah, well, both these players actually...
Oh, 24? Okay. What? Ritsagia randomly popping off in the middle of nowhere. 24 down stack spike. Looking very, very nice. Looking as clean as the Tuxedo on Tuxedo Peng's side.
Yeah, but hopefully Tuxedo Peng is the one that can be cleaner. 24.1 TR versus 24.8 is definitely a big gap, but I think last time we had 24.4 versus 24.9, and while that might seem like a smaller gap, just TR number-wise, I think Glyco it's still a pretty similar sized gap. Well, we'll see if he can keep up here in the actual set.
I mean, the warm-up went on for a pretty sizable amount of time, so both players definitely at least have the potential to keep it close with each other, especially with these double PCs. Unfortunately for Tuxedo Peng, they're receiving one line of garbage, and unfortunately, again, counter spikes yet again.
Yeah, Ritsagia not even gonna need that DPC there to take out Tuxedo Peng. Yeah, two spikes of the two PCs at the very start of the game, just so hard to deal with, and Ritsagia looking to go for another one. Misses the first PC, but manages to get the second by building it on top. No PC follow-up though, and we're gonna head into mid-game, where I do believe Ritsagia is probably also more comfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's definitely come to a board state for Ritsagia here. Able to find a pretty nice spike. Unfortunately, not enough to top out Tuxedo Peng just yet, but a good place to start building some back-to-back and offense.
Yeah, for sure. If you're Tuxedo Peng in this situation, how are you looking to close things out? Because I think I've mentioned that, in my opinion, a big way to come back against these kinds of players is, you know, to try to blast them with a really scary opener at the start. But I don't think Tuxedo Peng is quite that opener scare player. Judging by the stats, I think they're more of a stable, slower, slightly more methodical player, which is, I'd say, a bit harder to win, especially against someone who might be higher ranked.
No, for sure. I think that in the PC game, at least at the start, Ritsagia's PCO is definitely a lot faster than Tuxedo Peng, at least for what we've seen. So I feel like Tuxedo's best shot is to play in the mid game and play really, really safe to find a nice counter spike off of it. I feel like even if it's not the most engaging playstyle, I think it is the safest and best way for a lower ranked player to come back from a little bit of an APM or TR deficit.
For sure. And I think if you do emulate Ruby's strategy from last game, actually, or playing really safe and taking advantage of maybe your opponent's misdrops, that can be really effective, as we did see. Again, 4 points taken in that last set, but I think Ritsagia has shown a lot less misdrops, at least on that side from what I am noticing.
Oh, Tuxedo at the top of the board, dealing with a little bit of cheese, but using some nice timing in order to cancel off Ritsagia's attack here.
Yeah, and Ritsagia going for some more creative T-spins. I think if the stable APM can continue, it can be closing this out, but oh my gosh.
Okay. Yeah, I think just like what we were talking about earlier, Tuxedo Peng able to fix up their board state, and clean up their stack in order to find a nice spike to stop it with Ritsagia.
Yeah, and that is definitely an unfortunate dash moment for the Ritsagia there. If they dashed right instead of left, I think the T-piece would have made it over, but unfortunately there, resulting in a top out. And Tuxedo Peng now with the C-spin opener to pressure at the beginning. Ritsagia though, completely unfazed by this one.
Yeah, the surprise stick spin almost always works, but not this time for Tuxedo Peng. Going into a pretty even mid-game between both players. Seems to be both of them having a nice 9-0, but Tuxedo Peng's eyepiece antenna not looking the best for them.
And oh, that's a really unfortunate T-piece placement. I think that placement actually is gonna ultimately backfire for them. I think different placements would have allowed them to survive, but yeah, the L and J pieces there is just a tough sequence to deal with when you're down stacking.
Yeah, well, we have TKI versus SDPC here. Tuxedo Peng not finding the PC, unfortunately for them. Going into a pretty even mid game between both players.
Yeah, but such aggressive APM in that mid game from Rutgers, and Tuxedo Peng now having to spend all these resources in order to skim means they're not going to be able to reach the well. Rutgers making it a quick 3-1, trying to make it even quicker.
Yeah, you know what Sun Tzu said in the Art of War? Reach the well, send your opponent to hell. Yeah, I read the Art of War.
Yeah, it's all about deception and trying to make it a 7-1 as fast as possible, you know?
Exactly. You know, Sun Tzu, truly a Tetra player ahead of our time. But yeah, this LC coming up from Rutgers is looking really nice for them. Tuxedo Peng not falling back too far in the offense department, although they do need to fix up this misdrop.
Yeah, not your standard LC coming out from Rutgers, especially since that misdrop, but still a very good 7-2 stack, finding so many T-spins. But that horizontal eyepiece misdrop actually is going to give Tuxedo Peng the time to climb out of that. And actually with this counterattack, almost topped him out, but Rutgers such good down stacking, perfectly timed as well, knowing that the attack was coming from Tuxedo Peng, able to survive it, and now counterattack of his own is coming up.
Oh, unfortunately for Tuxedo, they thought they opened up, but they didn't. Indeed, you got to make sure, which is really, really tough when that happens. But you know, they're doing the best they can. They're going to be coming back for the next round.
Yeah, that is definitely a classic.
Wait, Rutgers doing a 4-wide! I will 4-wide! There's no way. This is real. Rutgers beginning their combo. And 14 spiked. 18, okay. Not enough to top out Tuxedo, though.
Yeah, it does find that big multiplier spike, but it was in the middle, so not going to be able to send as much. But this is such a clean wow from Rutgers. So much attack coming out from that.
Dude,
Shout out to the 4-wide.
The random 4-wide. We've had no indication of any 4-wide, and then just pull it out here. That's great.
Honestly, a single 4-wide being thrown out in the middle of a set is probably a nice strategy. Now here we have the SDPC versus the stick spin.
Yeah, but Rutgers going into DPC, a very nice solve there into PCO. Do they find the next one? They do! Continuing on the offense, Tuxedo Peng at the top of the board, and Rutgers finishes off with the 3rd or 4th PC, I believe.
Yeah, just too much hesitation there, and we're really seeing the rank difference speed advantage coming into play there. Tuxedo Peng, no way out for them as Rutgers are looking to close the doors on this game.
But, you know, still an open door for Tuxedo Peng to come back, especially with this clean well on their side of the board.
Yeah, and again, if you're Purdue, you're still rooting for Tuxedo Peng as much as possible, because the next match, although it will also be disparity, I think will be somewhat close, actually. I think it's LMNT, Lemon T, who still has not been sent out, versus Never Say GG, Rutgers top player. So every additional point that Tuxedo Peng can pull out here is going to be actually a major advantage. That's one less round that Lemon T has to take off Never Say GG.
Absolutely, but you know, a player might be saying GG if Tuxedo Peng isn't able to make it out from this one. It seems like they will, with a nice T-spin, opening up their well and keeping it at an equal state between both players so far. I don't know, I think Tuxedo Peng definitely has the ability to come back, but the double S pieces on top of the well, it's not looking too good for them.
Yeah, definitely put themselves in a slightly rougher position, and although isn't going to be quite able to, you know, it's not a position that's going to kill them, but again, not really in any position to put pressure on Rutgers, who, although at the top of their board, is still in a very stable spot, has the clean well to work with and additional APM to send.
I don't know, Tuxedo Peng has Fractal building up, but unfortunately not a full one, as they didn't have the piece they needed to fill it in, but Tuxedo in... Ooh, actually a lot of danger now. That's not looking good for them. And Rutgers taking the game with a back-to-back 6. Nice spike there.
Yeah, that is a big win from Rutgers, only dropping 1 point, where, although credit where credit is due, it is very impressive that Tuxedo Peng is able to close out, you know, win a match of their own there. But yeah, going into this next match, though, it is going to be Never Say GG versus Lemon Tea, I believe, are the last 2 players going into this, and wouldn't you know it, it is a completely tied score. So the last match is going to decide it all. I love when this happens. It is always very exciting. It's going to come down to the wire for both these teams.
Yeah, you know, and I think the tiebreaker thing is really, really nice in this 5v5 because there's so much pressure from the 4 other people before you that have all put their soul onto the line for these games, and it's all on you to do your best to make the decision for your team. And as a reminder, this is the 3rd place match, so the winner of this is going to be getting badges for their Tetrio accounts for their entire team.
Yeah, and Lemon Tea putting some confidence in the chat, saying it's okay. I just swept RKY 7-0. So we'll see if that is true as we head into this match. But yeah, like I said, the hopes and dreams of all the other 4 players on the team riding on you, no pressure. You know, like the scene from Avatar where it's like the Avatar looks back and it's like all the other avatars looking over and
wait, what? Oh, is this not a warm-up? Or?
Oh, I think it was supposed to be the warm-up, but they accidentally said it's a 1st to 7, so they're gonna put that one. That one doesn't count, guys.
Element T showing their speed with a huge pop out there. Yeah. It was calculated.
Yeah, obviously not a forfeit for either team. That was a warm-up. Would you really be trying to go for a forfeit in this kind of situation?
Yeah, forfeit cannon. That's crazy. New opener just dropped.
Yeah, for sure. And I do believe this one will be the...
Oh, wait.
Oh, sorry?
Oh, we talk in chat. We can't talk.
Okay, we stopped talking for a second. Anyways.
Okay, never mind. All right. Back to it. There we go.
Anyways, thank you for donating 1,000 points to the UBC Sports Association. We will not be refunding them.
That's
anyways.
So funny, the scam. No.
Yeah. All right. Here's the real warm-up first. Gonna be a 1st to 1, not a 1st to 7 warm-up. Honestly, like, wouldn't it be really funny if matches had 1st to 7 warm-up? Just like
1st to 7 warm-up.
Complete waste of everyone's time.
I would forward every round.
Yeah, and then you go into the actual round and you go at a 4 PPS.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What is that opener from Lemon Tea? I wish I knew the name.
Was that Alpha? No, I actually don't know.
No, it's not a standard one for sure. I've seen it before. I don't remember if they did it last time as well, but I cannot remember the name. If anyone in chat remembers and wants to be the real one, let us know.
Yeah, but we have some real APM coming out from Never Say GG, sending Lemon Tea to the top of their board here. I don't know if they can cancel in time, and they do. Against all odds.
Definitely showing off some survival chops doing this warm-up, but again, it's just the warm-up. Might be a good time to like hide your potential prowess, but
no, both these players are going all out for this warm-up, and Never Say GG is going to be taking the warm-up and probably also not saying GG. I'm not really sure about that.
Well, he did say JLHF in the chat, so maybe we'll say GG. Going against the name.
I don't know, Lemon Tea did send more lines, and they were keeping pace with Never Say GG, so, you know, it's definitely gonna be a close match for this final round.
Yeah. Again, disadvantage for Lemon Tea in terms of the stats and the rank, but anything can happen.
Wait, this is so funny. Lemon Tea's thing says some people are wise and some people are otherwise. That's great.
Well, they definitely hoping that Never Say GG is otherwise in this case.
Oh wait, Hachi's been misdropped. An amazing fix from Lemon Tea. That's crazy. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Doue. I'm not a Hachi spinner, so I wouldn't know, but...
There's definitely a lot of ways to fix Hachi spin. Wow. Like, you'd be surprised, especially if you've done it a lot.
You know, it goes to say, even if it looks bad, you can always fix it up, especially in Tetrio.
Yeah, it's like those... If you ever go to like a really old Tetris 99 video, there'll be people like, oh, I thought that was a misdrop, but it was actually a T-spin setup.
Speaking of misdrops, though, Never Say GG misdropping on their side of the board, and looking a little bit rough on their side, but Lemon Tea doesn't seem to have too much of a punish right now.
Alright, going into the rest of this game, both players definitely playing a lot more explosively than last time. Again, these are the top 2 players on each team, and Lemon Tea definitely going to be looking to lay on the pressure, trying to punish Never Say GG for stacking up that high, but it is not going to be enough as Never Say GG sends some additional attacks of his own.
Yeah, I don't know, it's close between both players, but it seems like Never Say GG is going to be starting to look for the offense here. Not keeping back-to-back, unfortunately, and Lemon C punishing the board state with a well-timed spike there.
Alright, Lemon T taking 1 point again is huge, but taking a single point is not really going to matter in at this point since we are in the final round. They are going to have to take it all, and 1 point, you know, definitely on the road to go for that.
Oh, Lemon T putting on some nice APM here, 15 spike coming out, but Never Say GG's counter spiking very, very hard with a 19 spike.
And that's a tough misdrop to deal with, but actually Never Say GG not finding the punish there. Lemon T gonna be able to get to safety. And yeah, going back to mid game here, big scare for Lemon T, but fortunately able to recover from that misdrop.
Ooh, I don't know, looking very, very clean for Never Say GG here, but same with LMNT. I don't know, it's back and forth between both players, but it seems like Never Say GG is dealing with a little bit of cheese on their board.
Yeah, that garbage is really annoying to deal with. That's a mid-game PC!
What? Lemon C taking their second round, looking very, very huge to take this kind of a lead in the final match.
Yeah, what are we sprinkling that tea in this morning? Some like super powerful lemons. Like this guy's playing out of his mind at the moment and continuing to. Never mind.
Wait, Never Say GG is popping off as well. A huge Doue stack into their first point of the game against Lemon T, showing that they're still in it. Either player can take this. They both have all of the skill needed for it.
Yeah, Commentator's Curse definitely still well and alive in the situation. But now let's see if Never Say GG is going to begin to put on that crazy pressure that we do expect from him. LMNT with a bunch of misshots at the top of the board though, and yeah, Never Say GG going to tie this one up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gotta be tough for them and see. They had a nice lead, but Never Say GG is nice and warm, ready to come back here. Oh, double
fast
PCs.
perfect clear from both sides, but Lemon T's was slightly better, but still able to find the perfect clear.
Yeah, I will say that it's all clean to Never Say GG though. They are able to spike back with a nice and clean board.
Nice sequence there from Lemon T to get that additional damage from the multiplier, but Never Say GG's back-to-back 7s, 8s still climbing as Lemon T's having to opt for some slightly worse decisions, and Never Say GG up to back-to-back 11. This is going to be tough.
Oh, Never Say GG breaks the back-to-back, unfortunately. It seems like a misdrop. Lemon T able to find a nice cancel. Never Say GG is at the top of their board, but Lemon T does have more canceling. Call them X the way they be canceling left and right. That's crazy.
Oh, it took me a second. I thought we were talking about like X rank.
I should say Twitter. No one calls it X.
Yeah, no one calls it X, but both these players are definitely X rank. And LMNT closing out that round with such impressive survival against Gigawatt's insane pressure. As again, having the lead in this instant when you're at such a rank disadvantage is so huge. And if they can actually close this out, it would be a miracle for Purdue.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, miracles can happen, especially at CTL. But miraculous 5 back-to-back from both players. Seems like Never Say GG does have the advantage on the LST there. LMNT forced to cancel out of that.
Lemon T excellent canceling, but Never Say GG also a nice recovery from that OP misdrop is going to continue to go back-to-back. And I think this is the kind of explosive gameplay we were expecting from both these X ranks.
Yeah, this is what we've been waiting for. And oh, Lemon T does have a misdrop on their board. Not waiting for that one. And Never Say GG is looking to find a nice punish to take a tie yet again.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen recovery from worse, but that misdrop sequence is gonna be tough. But again, Lemon T, such nice recovery from their own misdrops. But again, same from Never Say GG. Now Lemon T opting for the Hachi spin, but is that opener gonna work out? Actually waiting on this T-spin,
double
both players
wait.
using timing.
Yeah, Never Say GG didn't really feel like waiting too much right there. Sending instead. Lemon T at the top of their board, doing a T-spin, able to fix it up pretty nice and open up their well.
Yeah, such excellent skimming there from Lemon T. Able to open up the well, able to get to that huge well to try to send more Tetrises, and is in such a nice position to continue this APM, canceling out a lot of the attack from Never Say GG's side, who is still keeping up the APM themselves. It's not anyone's game quite yet, at least for this round.
Yeah, especially the score base. 3-3 is definitely very, very tough for both these players. They've got to be feeling the nerves at this moment. The hopes and dreams of their teams following behind them. And speaking of following up with a back-to-back 6 from Lemon Tea, but canceling it out to fix up their board state.
Now, board state is just not good for sending any more back-to-back on Lemon Tea's board. Has the down stack, sending a bit more APM on the way, but a slight unfortunate S placement is going to require a bit more fixing, which does put a hamper on that current APM. But Never Say GG can look for that comeback in terms of APM power here. Gets that T-spin in the middle stack as well as the Tetris. But again, still going back and forth. No one quite having a dominant lead yet.
Yeah, both these players exchanging garbage back and forth non-stop. It seems like Lemon Tea is going to be the one on the offensive side with all of the queens straight to the bottom of their board. But Never Say GG is looking clean as well, spiking back hard. Back-to-back 7 is now online.
But that's such a nice wall on Lemon Tea's side. Able to perfectly open it up. Unfortunately, has to break back in the middle of it and Never Say GG. Unfortunately, also on their side of the board, breaking the back-to-back 12. We are back to mid-game there after that explosive back-to-back sequence.
Oh, 23 spike from Never Say GG, but Lemon Tea is unaffected regardless of all of the attack coming out.
Yeah, both these players able to just turn on the offense on a dime. Extremely powerful, and here Lemon Tea finding perhaps a good sequence, but really good decision to swap that piece from Never Say GG, able to get out, but no eyepiece in
12
sight.
spikes, finishing off that round that was on tiebreaker for the longest time there. Lemon Tea is in the lead now.
Yeah, unfortunately, Never Say GG just got droughted in Modern Tetris. Can we get an F in the chat for that?
Alright, back to the game here. It seems like both players are at a fairly even board state in the middle of the board. What? No one seems to have too much of an advantage just yet.
For sure, and yeah, I think the fact that both these players are so similarly matched in offense is actually causing these matches to be really extended, since their ability to spike each other out is countered by the spikes of their own, and the best offense in this game sometimes is, the best defense in this game is a good offense.
Absolutely. And speaking of offense, 11-15 spike coming up from Never Say GG with a back-to-back 2, but nothing compared to the back-to-back 14 on Lemon Tea's board, which they unfortunately break to get this nice spike up.
Yeah, slight awkward sequence there from Gigawatt, but immediately out of it and able to send a casual 14 spike. But honestly, in this set, a 14 spike is kind of like nothing. It's like sending a single Tetris in compared to lower ranks.
I don't know. I think that Lemon Tea is going to take any kind of attack they can find to cancel, but unfortunately for them, they're not able to find it in time, and it is now at 4-4 on the match point. Or sorry, not match point, but for the team space match point.
Yeah, these matches just keep going back to tiebreaker. I think neither player getting more than a 2-point lead at any moment, and that's a really tragic misdrop at the top of the board.
TP's misdrop, so unfortunate for them, and Lemon Tea is now taking the lead for this game so far.
Yeah, probably taking another swig of that caffeinated Lemon Tea here as we go into this next round. I think we're as about to go for the Hachi spin, but unfortunate mishold means they aren't going to be able to find it. But again, Never Say GG also not finding anything aggressive on his side of the board for the opener, so going to this mid game, but those tragic misdrops! This is
the
so
misdrops
bad.
are catastrophic on Never Say GG's side, and Lemon Tea is now on match point here. Once again, this is the 3rd place game. The winner of this is going to be getting badges for their team. TK coming up from both players. Lemon Tea 10 spike, accepting the garbage, and Never Say GG is looking to find a nice down stack.
Yeah, for sure, and you've just got to be so stressed right now if you are Rutgers here. This is kind of the match you expected to win. You lost the 3rd place match, and you were able to pick these matchups, but now, put in this position, Lemon Tea going absolutely god mode.
Oh my god, Never Say GG unable to down stack, and Lemon Tea is taking the 3rd place for their team with a decisive victory.
And
yeah, wow.
What an intense last set. Lemon Tea slaying out of their mind, absolutely destroying everyone's expectations. Nobody really saw this result coming, especially since we ended up in a tied situation. And there were people in the chat saying after the 3rd round that, Rutgers had it in the bag. Rutgers was going to take it all, but yeah, Lemon Tea absolutely dominating there.
Yeah, but we are going to be ending out the 3rd place match of CTL with a score of 27 for Rutgers and 31 for the victors, Purdue University. So very, very well played to all the players who participated. But fear not, we have even more CTL gameplay coming up with the grand finals match in just a moment.
Yeah, we are going to be taking a short break right before the finals. Like, this match went so crazy. It definitely went overtime. It went, it went until that next match was supposed to start. But yeah, we will be taking a short break for the next match. Congratulations to Purdue, who will win the third place prize pool and our bronze Tetrio badges. And also congratulations to Rutgers, who put up an amazing fight and will win that fourth place prize pool.
Absolutely. But stay tuned. We'll be right back with you in just a moment. Yes, thank you very much. And we are back with the Collegiate Tetris League Grand Finals. So for tonight, we are going to be having UCLA versus Uoft. And if you don't know me already, my name is Cowbow, and I'll be casting with my co-commentator, Doue.
Hello, everyone.
But yeah, definitely some exciting games coming up for tonight. We saw some explosive sets from the last round that we just had for the third place match. But now here is where it has all come down to. Weeks of gameplay and qualifying have come to these two teams battling it out for the first place spot. Doue, what are your thoughts about these two teams so far?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think these teams are kind of the clearest, strongest teams on for this tournament. I think from the beginning of the tournament, we've been expecting UCLA and Uoft, not UCoft. There's no
UCoft. Yeah.
UCLA and Uoft to face each other in the finals, and yeah, I think that is where we did end up going. UCLA, obviously, Kabuzo Pai, very strong player, but also at the beginning of the tournament, we had 2 other very high X ranks, and now we have 4 other very high X ranks, or maybe not very high, but 4 solid X ranks. I think it's probably been a very strong job from Kabuzo Pai to do the coaching on that side to help every player improve. And if you were here for the pre-show, you would have seen that UCLA is actually the highest team in terms of Glyco gain, like how much Glyco each player has gained.
Yeah, and you know, I will say,
and of course, it is good to see.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, and of course, it is good to see Oxford Valley back here, as I believe he had to be subbed out in the previous match as he was not available, but yeah, he's available this time.
Yes, but I will say to Cab, I know that he's been training up these lower ranked players and stuff, but he is a fantastic team player, and I have that first-hand experience. I played with him in Infinite Finesse Trios, and he was an amazing teammate, great team player, helped me out with some coaching as well as my friends, and we did end up winning from that. So I don't know, we'll see if Kabuzo Pai's team play continues on into this one, and we'll see if UCLA is able to take that top spot on the CTL leaderboard.
Yeah, but on the other side, we do have Uoft, and Uoft, that's definitely not a team to count out. Now, while Uoft did fall to UCLA when this team met in the bracket, it was I believe a 9-point difference in terms of in favor of UCLA. But Uoft also does have those very strong X ranks. They have that X factor, and they have the ability to throw a wrench into things in terms of UCLA's team, because I think a big part of UCLA's dominant strategy is not only sending out their weaker players first, as we did discuss with Zynex during the pre-show, but also being able to absolutely, just thrash the opponent team with their top 3 X ranks. While Uoft, I think, is the one team in this tournament that has the ability to actually match them, potentially almost player for player. Maybe not Cab, but the second and third place, Golf and Eggs and JN can be contested by Uoft strong players. So I think it's definitely going to come down to a lot of that. But yeah, we'll see how things go. Again, UCLA favored, but we saw in the previous match how the picks can just turn on a dime, how the players can suddenly play out of their minds. Maybe some players have a bad day. Who knows?
And speaking of dimes, we do still have a prize pool open for CTL, and even though all the incentives have been completed, you can show your support for the community and for this national tournament by donating at the, I don't know, exclamation point prize pool production, something like that. I don't know, some shell prize pool. But yeah, it's regardless, we're happy to have you guys here playing or watching or staffing, however you can.
Yeah, for sure. And here we go. The first match will be between the other red guy and Sir Sheepadoodle. And yeah, I do think, as Zynex did predict, they were going to send out the other red guy first, but in this case, Sir Sheepadoodle is going to land the sweep. And I think, as Zynex has also mentioned, it is probably not going to be too big of a deal if they send out the other red guy or anyone else in that regard. But yeah, hoping for some very exciting matches like the ones we had in the last set. And here you go, first warm-up for these two teams in the finals.
Right, man, I love the finals. Other red guy going with the PC no here, and so Sheepadoodle just stacking up with 6-3. Oh my god, 17 spike from the other red guy, and Stursh cannot handle that pressure to start off the game here.
Yeah, closing that warm up out in 11 seconds. Basically, no time to warm up at all. Maybe increase your average body temperature by like 0.01 degrees. Like barely a warm up. Honestly, you might have even cooled down there from those block drops so fast. There was like a slight breeze created.
Or it's like when it's so hot that if you just go through it quickly, it doesn't do anything. Like you throw your hand through fire quickly and then you can you can't the heat transfer or whatever. I don't know, some nerd stuff. Let's get into the Tetrio gameplay here. It seems like some sort of TKI looking shape from the other red guy, as well as a regular TKI from Serge here.
Yeah, transitioning that into an LST, I believe, and that is gonna potentially, if they continue even further, a lot more APM, but Serge actually not finding the continuation. And this sequence is very awkward, having to, hesitate for a bit to find out how to deal with that. And now in a pretty bad position, no T for the potential TST either, and dropping a point almost immediately at the beginning.
Yeah, so she's hesitating a little bit too much on that on that play here, but surely her nerves are going to be coming into control real quick, starting up with this strong TKI.
Yeah, and I think people cannot see the game on stream at the moment, but hopefully we're describing the game well. Serge going for some, crazy
spike from
crazy spike from the red guy actually, and continuing to lay on the pressure. And yeah, putting the pressure on Serge here, but now the red guy in a bit of danger. And I think if there's Serge Purdue in this situation, you definitely want to be dropping as few matches as possible. Again, I think dropping matches to even like a single point to these lower ranked players when you are U of T in this situation is quite detrimental.
Yeah, especially when you have Caboozled Pie looming in the background from every single point that you need to be taking. It's very, very huge for you to take those victories.
Yeah, every single point you drop against one of U of T's lower ranked players is another point you might need to end up taking against Caboozled Pie. And I'm gonna be honest, that's not a fate I would bestow upon anyone.
Absolutely. But it seems like the other red guy's fate could be disaster unless they find a huge, dirty, downstack, Yao stack spike to come back from the jaws of defeat there. That was very, very close.
Yeah, the other red guy playing out of their mind today. Definitely had some coaching. Maybe had a sip of the same tea that lemon tea was drinking out of earlier. But yeah, it's definitely playing very above how they usually play, punching above their weight class, so to speak. And if they can keep this up, this could be a very dominant finals for UCLA. But I'm sure U of T is not going to let that happen.
Especially with Shibudo's board state here, looking pretty clean. 9-0 well, starting to stack up. And the other red guy is doing their best to find a down stack here.
Definitely, and yeah, Serge Padoodle, although the board is clean, I think the red guy has a few ways to counter spike if we can open up this well. Has those Tetris coming out, but Serge Padoodle ready to receive most of that garbage, is going to be able to escape from that pretty handily.
Yeah, and I will say Serge's board state looking super clean here. Back-to-back threes online, ready to spike, but the other red guy also has some clean to work with, sending some massive amounts of attack, which Serge is going to masterfully counter spike straight back to the other red guy.
Yeah, and I think overall in this match so far, red guy has been definitely playing extremely well, obviously, but also putting a lot more pressure on Serge than the other way around, I'd say. I think a big part of it might be the fact that you are the lower ranked player, the fact that you are the blind pick player. There is a lot less nerves in terms of potentially having misdrops and stuff, and I think that is coming out to be a factor. I think we've seen the impact of nerves in previous games, and yeah, I think that is actually what is going to decide if this round goes, how well these rounds go. If red guy can take even more crucial points in this first blinded match.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't know, it seems like both these players definitely want to start putting on the APM, but they can't too much as the board states aren't really conducive for that just yet. And we see Serge Padoodle trying to fix up her board into this LST looking shape in the middle of her board, but forced to cancel out yet again as the other red guy is starting to send a little bit more cheese to her board.
Yeah, a bit of a rough stack on red guy's side earlier, but able to clean up very quickly. And again, Serge in a very tough situation at the top of the board is going to have to down stack extremely quickly and is not going to be able to find it here. IPs has to be wasted, and red guy up 3-1 against such a big rank deficit as well.
Yeah, it's really tough for Serge. That peace queue is not what you want to see if you have that sequence, but I'm sure she's going to be doing her best to adapt to that and find a better position for the next round. So she's denying the PC there, or declining, sorry. Not sure why exactly, but could be for counter spike.
Yeah, definitely, a strange decision to make, but again, sending a PC against an opponent who has been shown to find these crazy counter spikes might not always be the best decision, especially, I suppose, if you're not confident in being able to follow that up with even more PCs. But here we go. The red guy board able to be cleaned up very quickly now and is going to, again, lay on that offense. So Sheepadoodle not able to find these, or not able to capitalize on any of these potential T-spins, and instead has to be forced to downside.
Yeah, but speaking of capitalizing, Sir Sheepadoodle finding a massive spike off of the other red guy's bad board state and able to find a punish, keeping it a pretty close 3-2.
The situation, again, changing very quickly as we go into this next phase. Surge, again, misdropping the MKO. Again, potentially nerves here, but yeah, despite this being a close match, this is not a match that as Uoft you want to be close. Similar to the Purdue one earlier.
But we as the commentators love it to be close. Ramps up the tension and ramps up the score of the game. 4-2 for the other red guy here.
Yeah, the other red guy definitely going absolutely crazy in this match. And honestly, as Uoft, or as UCLA rather, it's very impressive that red guy is winning these matches so hard. But do you really want him to win this match for overall draft strategy is actually the question here. We'll see if they try to do anything funny in that regard, but continuing this match, I think Sir Sheepadoodle definitely wants to, take more points. The instability of her gameplay at the moment is definitely concerning, but hopefully we'll be able to pick that back up.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of picking up, the speed and the APM are picking up from the other red guy here. Back-to-back sixes online, and Sir Sheepadoodle is being pushed to the top of her board here. I do think she can escape from it with some nice canceling, which she is doing right now. And it is now Search's turn to put on the offense.
Yeah, but the offense is not coming out as fast as you would want it. Only got a Tetris out of that 9-0 and then had to immediately break back-to-back after. Definitely, I think, playing a bit below the potential you would want to be playing at. But I think it's also a testament to how well red guy is playing, as he continues to cleanly open up these wells and set up for even higher attacks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that nerves are absolutely more than understandable in this kind of scenario. The grand finals match is nothing to scoff at, especially these attacks from the other red guy. Back-to-back 7 and a huge spike is too much for Sir Sheepadoodle to handle. From the bottom of the board straight to the top of hers, she's unable to deal with that pressure.
The attack sequence is clean and the garbage being sent is cleaner. So many spikes being sent towards Sir Sheepadoodle, and I think if you're Uoft, you're definitely getting really worried here. Sir Sheepadoodle definitely does want to win this match, obviously, but again, the nerves, I think if you're watching as someone from Uoft, you're definitely getting nervous yourself as well. You have to perform really out of your mind if Surge continues to drop points here in this match.
No, it's still not unwinnable and not unable for Surge to make a comeback here, but we'll have to see how the game turns out here.
Yeah, has a bit of clean garbage to work with now, but I think it's definitely been a struggle for Surge to find instances where they can actually, put the pressure on red guy and go for a kill. Whereas red guy has been, when he finds the opening, he goes for it. And he goes for it hard, continuing a huge back-to-back sequence whenever he is able to. And I think that is actually helping him close out the matches much better. Surge, such a tragic piece sequence, no OPs able to be put to the left. And red guy's up at match point here, 6-2. That is crazy.
Yeah, the other red guy definitely leveraging a speed and APM advantage over Surge here, and is not looking good for her or her team.
Definitely looking to close this round out now. Absolute powerhouse of a player, red guy. Absolutely surprised. Was one of the U ranks when this tournament started, and is looking to prove himself as a definite X rank going into potentially the last round of the set.
Wait, yeah, the other red guy had a huge misdrop, but they were able to fix it in time, and Surge was unable to find the capitalize for the punish there. Back-to-back broken on Sir Sheepadoodle's board, and the other red guy is spiking back extremely hard.
The red guy just so quick on these attacks. Like when he finds the attack, like the board state just completely changes. And although Surge now in a slightly more stable state, but again, unable to find any sort of attack that can actually directly kill. As I say that though, the red guy skins out and not the right sequence.
Yes, Sir Sheepadoodle found a mid-game LST there, able to find some nice attacks and continue on the pressure, hopefully bringing it back for her team with these next rounds.
Yeah, definitely needing to clean up the gameplay here from Surge, but 2 PCs from Red Guy. Surge able to clean it up in time to cancel and deny the DPC, and now the other Red Guy might be in a bit of trouble with all that clean sent back. As I say that, Red Guy cleans up, has the well now, and yeah, Surge just cannot find these kills off these potentially good situations.
Oh, I don't know, there's clean on both players' board, but it seems like the other Red Guy has a bit more to use if they're able to get down to it, which they do.
Yeah, misdrop, no matter for the Red Guy, playing so quickly, actually quicker than Surge at the moment, able to solve these misdrops, you know, in the blink of an eye. And despite all this cheese, I'm thinking Red Guy is actually favored right now.
Yeah, for sure.
The gameplay I've seen so far.
In general, it seems like the other Red Guy, seems to have more offensive power and potential compared to Soshipadoodle, who seems to be a little bit more on the plonk timing kind of side. But I don't know if it's enough to take this.
Yeah, Red Guy had to do a lot of scheming there, and unfortunately is going to top out. Surge taking 2 in a row, hoping to take probably at least 3 more, or, I don't know, depending on how things go, could go for some crazy play. I don't know. It's going to be close, that's all I'll say.
Absolutely, and I think last round, Surge leveraged the back-to-back in order to get even more attack off of it, so we'll see if she does something similar in this round. Perhaps we'll see her switch to more offensive playstyle.
I think offense is definitely what you'll need to counter Red Guy's own crazy offense, but also being in a slightly safer position and being able to cancel Red Guy's crazy offense, because...
No, I don't know. It's back-to-back 8 from Soshipadoodle, almost 3 PPS. She is definitely putting on the pressure for the entire game here. She is completely warm and ready to attack.
Yeah, definitely eating my words a bit there as Surge does go for the crazy offense, and I think Surge getting that kind of last stand buff, you know, on your last... Like, I think for me, if I was down 6-0, I would be a lot of pressure, but actually, as I said,
my God.
Surge put in such a tough situation.
Huge spike to the top of the board, and Soshipadoodle cannot cancel! Back-to-back 9 for the other Red Guy means they take the first round of the game here. Oh my God, a huge victory for UCLA right when they didn't even expect it there, I'm sure. I don't know, that's really, really tough for the rest of Uoft, but a very valiant effort from Soshipadoodle nonetheless.
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like I commentated Chris so many times there, but yeah, an insane showing from UCLA winning with the other Red Guy, and you know, despite having such a point lead, that does mean that Uoft will have counter pick for the next round, so we'll see how these things go. I think for almost all of UCLA's rounds against strong opponents with X ranks, they have sent out a weaker player first, and that player has lost. But in this case, they've won, so we'll see how their drafting strategy proceeds. I do think it's going to be, you know, a lot closer since this happened in terms of drafting strategies, but I also think that if the other Red Guy is able to win, then the other members of UCLA are probably feeling a bit less pressure in terms of having to sweep their matches hard, because that is a pretty decent point lead from the first round.
Absolutely, but you know, just because it's a lead doesn't mean it's a lead you can't come back from. And we have Golf and Eggs coming in for UCLA to try and maintain that. The fun fact is that they love K-barbecue, I believe.
Yeah, we've seen that fun fact before. I also love K-barbecue, and wow, we are bringing out the big guns early. RKY coming out from Uoft.
Interesting, because I believe that in general, usually Caboozled Pie will beat RKY for the most part. So having RKY go against someone that's not Cab means they can probably get a couple more points for their team.
Yeah, it's definitely in favor of Uoft to have RKY not go against Cab, because I think a rule of thumb for both these teams is they don't want to pit their top players, or no, UCLA wants to pit Cab against RKY because Cab is so much stronger than any other player here that he can sweep. So sweeping the top player on Uoft's team would be really good for them. That being said, now that Uoft has found a position to send in RKY against one of UCLA's top 3, I think they're going to try to leverage this as much to their advantage as possible, and definitely hoping for a sweep, probably Uoft right now.
Oh, for sure, making back the deficit from earlier. But I don't know, RKY, strong player. I think they have the chops to get that sweep in for their team if they need it. And continuing on, a lot of APM coming up from both players, but Golf and Eggs is doing some spectacular survival against RKY to continue on fighting.
Yeah, for sure. RKY definitely a player, if anyone remembers CTL from last season, a player that no one wants to play against. And in this case, the one player that probably could hold a candle to the, jump scare RKY is not able to. And if this warm-up 23 spike is anything to go by, I think Golfman Eggs is in for a pretty big uphill battle.
And you know what? That's tough there. RKY is kind of out of nowhere. The 23 spike. I'm sure we're going to be expecting plenty more crazy APM coming out from them, and also Golfman Eggs, I'm sure.
Yeah, and honestly, considering everything, Golfman Eggs is definitely not a player to be counted out. And they definitely are ways for Golfman Eggs to surprise RKY. I think RKY can misdrop in some tough situations like this misdrop PC, but I think RKY is also a player that can, clean up their own gameplay quite nicely and can stabilize and send massive spikes like these.
Absolutely. 13 spike from RKY. Continuing on into the down stack here. It seems like RKY needs to fix up the board just a little bit before they can send more attack. And Golfman Eggs is using that opportunity to start building some back-to-back. Back-to-back 6 is online for Golfman Eggs.
Yeah, back-to-back 7 now, but gonna have to break out of it. RKY in such a safe position, able to continue this 5-4 stack, continue to send T-spins off of it, and using the stack very well, pushing Golfman Eggs to the top, forcing it to skim, and when you force someone to start skimming, they start losing that offensive pressure, and when you lose offensive pressure, you might lose that potential to survive, but as I say, that Golfman Eggs, excellent down stacking, great survival, still in the game right now.
Yeah, I don't know, both players are doing fantastic jobs so far, especially Golfman Eggs, the one in the underdog spot right now. I don't know, it's looking very, very close from both players. Back-to-back is building on Golfman Eggs' side, and RKY is using their stack to try and find a cancellation.
Well, Golfman Eggs definitely trying to emulate the underdog's success of Red Guy right now, but it's definitely going to be an uphill battle. A bit of cheese on that board going to have to be cleaned up, but will be cleaned up very quickly. And RKY not quite able to find anything lethal just yet, but that misdrop on Golfman Eggs' side might cause a few problems down the line.
Oh, a huge 3-wide spike coming out from RKY into a 22 spike and taking the first round of the game here. Yeah, just like we saw in the warm-up, RKY absolutely has the capacity to spike you out to the ceiling from nowhere if you're not careful.
Yeah, even if the early game doesn't go well, RKY is definitely a mid-game monster. And being able to find those spikes, just squeezing out that last bit of APM with the multiplier, or maybe not multiplier, but the down stack there was really effective in getting that kill, and hope to replicate a lot more of that in the rest of this set.
Yeah, and I will note here, Golfman Eggs does have a significant speed advantage over RKY, but that doesn't matter if you misdrop like they have into a very precarious position, finding a fantastic cancel though, I might add, on Golfman Eggs' side.
Yeah, leveraging that speed advantage to actually survive that, it's actually incredibly impressive to me that you survived that. I think if you were any slower, definitely would have topped out, but able to burst that T piece into position and will continue into a more neutral state. Very good survival from Golfman Eggs.
Yeah, and not only good survival, they also have some crazy setups too. Golfman Eggs doing some wonderful T-spins to stay alive and try to spike back. But so far, it seems to be like they're just trying their best to survive against RKY's onslaught here.
Yeah, and RKY still pumping out the APM though, and Golfman Eggs, I think, has kind of consistently been on the back foot despite all the survival, having to downstack through so much cheese, and RKY is just doing such an impressive job of pressuring him. But now Golfman Eggs at the bottom of the board, feeling a lot more confident, but can only go for 9-0 right now. It's really unfortunate for Golfman Eggs.
Oh, 12 spike from RKY, sending Golfman Eggs pretty high up, but they are still able to get to the clean well, and Golfman Eggs is staying alive with this 14 spike right back to RKY. He's building a very nice fractal on the other side.
Oh my god, fractal after fractal.
Yeah, they call that a back-to-back-tical fractal practical. That's crazy. RKY popping off with that setup there.
Yeah, I just saw those fractals spawn on my board. It was like I was zooming into an actual mathematical fractal there. But just the setup one after another, and RKY, slight misdrop, but definitely going to be able to survive that. Looking for perhaps some more downstack to skim, and yeah, going to be going into mid game here.
Oh, RKY almost goofed the T at the top of the board there. Very, very close, and Golfman Eggs had a risky STSD that they had to bail out of, because I don't believe it was a complete setup. But a fantastic downstack means that Golfman Eggs is still in the game and continuing to send us an attack, but this eyepiece misdrop might halt the pressure a bit.
Yeah, misdropped earlier on the STSD actually, which is why you couldn't complete it, and that eyepiece misdrop was definitely risky, but slightly in a better position. But as I said, RKY is such a nasty spike. thankfully Golden Eggs able to cancel all of it, which is good because a lot of that spike was composed of cheese, and that would, although it goes with eggs, probably not what you want to see right now.
No, absolutely. Golden Eggs is doing their best to keep the board really clean, but it doesn't matter how clean it is if RKY20 spikes you with a super clean board and more to follow. I will say that RKY is fantastic at keeping up pressure and not just sending big spikes. They have more to send as well. Oh, Golden Eggs doing the stall opener here. I'm not really sure.
Definitely not sure what the play here is. Has something happened on their side? And I don't know if this is like an actual play. I would say no because a stick split from RKY is absolutely brutal. And
seems like Golden Eggs is doing the extreme macro plunking where they don't move at all, waiting to accept RKY's lines, sending a message that they accept that they. I don't know. I really don't know what happened there. I don't know.
Golden Eggs' game froze. That is very unfortunate. I'm seeing in chat that Golden Eggs' game froze.
What will RKY do here? I don't know if there is a precedent, but I believe that they are. Okay, we are going to abort the game for now.
Yeah, that round is going to go to RKY because of our disconnect ruling, but hopefully when he comes back, he will be able to recover.
Yeah, I will say a good sportsmanship from RKY to just kind of wait on it because, another player could have just started spamming, DPC or whatever if they know their opponent isn't there. But it seems like RKY wants a nice, clean, and fair game, so we respect that.
Yeah, definitely something you can do, but honestly, like, sometimes it isn't even good to spam against a player like that in a situation like that because they might be able to counter spike you. I think that only matters in lower ranks though, because obviously RKY can pump out like 3 screens worth of garbage if you AFK for like 15 seconds at the start of the match, I think. But
no, I guarantee that RKY can send more damage than my DPC with like 2 times garbage to multiply, you know what I mean? It is ridiculous the amount of APM we've seen in just the first half of this game. But since we're at the midpoint where Golden Eggs needs to reconnect, what do you think of their gameplay so far?
Yeah, I think Golden Eggs' survival has been really impressive, and they've been able to recover from Mistros, but it's just such an uphill battle against RKY. It's like anyone on Uoft facing Caboozled. It's just very tough, and I think it's gonna come down to, for Golden Eggs, if we can take advantage of when RKY has those, moments of slowdown where RKY doesn't really have anything and have any good setups. But again, it's so hard to manipulate timing, to such a effective extent to this. And okay, I think these players are now on opposite sides of the board.
That's interesting. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, we can like flip it. Just I can just understand the board at the top. The score at the top is not going to be accurate.
Right. RKY possibly going for the attempted Among Us, I think. Did I say back there? I'm not sure.
Not sure. I don't know if you can do an Among Us in time before Golden Eggs can manage to top out.
I don't know. RKY is pretty fast. They might be able to pump it out.
That's true. This is a good back for Among Us. I don't think anyone on stream can see the more. They did
it. RKY is so freaking fast. They made the Among Us in time. But I believe we are at the correct score for them to resume the actual game here.
Oh, yeah, and I think everything on stream is working. I think my side view of the stream is just very delayed. It's all good. We are back on the actual stream.
Yes, perfect. All right, back to the game here. RKY doing a pretty good job of cleaning up their board state yet again. Golden Eggs spiking pretty hard, but RKY has a lot of clean to work with.
Yeah, and RKY actually, doing some good job survival against Golden Eggs here, but actually, as I say that, bad sequence means Golden Eggs will take that first point for them extremely good. Coming off that game reset, fresh, game not frozen, feeling good.
Absolutely. And I bet, RKY's feeling good with this SDPC into the PC. Looking for DPC, but not taking it. I'm not sure if they misdropped or misheld something, but continuing on the game here for both sides.
Yeah, well, even if he can't kill in the opener phase, I think the mid game again is where RKY probably feels more comfortable against Golden Eggs. But like as I said that, Golden Eggs earlier in the last set was able to take one, and we'll see if he's able to take any more continuing into the rest of this set.
Yeah, and you know what else is continuing? The back-to-back chain on RKY's board here. As soon as I said that they canceled it. But, they are doing their best to keep it clean. I feel like that's a really, really underrated skill. Not just keeping back-to-back, but knowing when to break it in order to fix up your board. And this is one of those times. RKY in a precarious spot, but able to still survive.
A good down stack, and despite the additional T, Mishdrop is going to able to find his way out of here. Very smart skimming, and out of that, necessary defensive position into a position where you can send a lot more garbage back at Golden Eggs, who, unfortunately for RKY, does have a clean board, so not going to be, too much harm done for Golden Eggs.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still even between both the players. Golden Eggs is doing a wonderful job, as usual, keeping pace with RKY so far. But, as we've seen before, RKY has the capacity to find some amazing spikes out of nowhere. So Golden Eggs is going to have to watch out for that.
Yeah, for sure. And again, RKY, just such an intimidating player to play against. Such a terrifying presence, if anyone does remember from the last CTL. But Golden Egg honestly has been playing, unfazed, not scared of the dark, not scared of any potential boogeyman that might pop out from behind your bed. But RKY, he's gonna pop out from under your bed with a gun. He's just gonna shoot you with
it's like the Caboozled coffee pasta, but with
garbage.
RKY as the monster under your bed. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, definitely for anyone from last year's CTL, RKY was the monster under your bed. But, Golden Eggs, he's got a flashlight. He's ready to spot him out.
But it seems like the light at the end of the tunnel is shrinking for Golden Eggs as RKY takes his 5th point here. Not looking too good for Golf.
Yeah, and if we were going by golf score, Golden Eggs would be winning, but unfortunately it's not golf score, so no golf, and potentially no eggs either if RKY continues this dominance. Very creative setup there from RKY, not getting the teaspoon, but has a lot of potential to send garbage, and garbage was sent back and forth, but both players did manage to stabilize.
Yeah, RKY is doing a fantastic job keeping a clean board state as usual here. Almost 300 versus into this 12 down stack spike, but Golden Eggs is still unfazed, breaking the back-to-back to send a nice spike, but still staying clean with this 9-0 well.
What a beautiful down stack sequence though from RKY, sending so much cheese, and that's basically a spike when you send that much cheese at once. Right. And RKY looking to close this out, make it a quick 7-1, drop no more points to Golden Eggs.
Yeah, but all clear coming out from RKY here into the Tetris PC, into DPC. Are they going to get it? And they will, continuing it up with a great system into their 3rd PC. Unfortunately, not getting their 4th.
Golden Eggs finally finding his way out of that PC sequence, and now RKY in a lot of danger. 21 spike from Golden Eggs, and we'll see if he can close it out though. RKY, quick to recover, completely unfazed, and a nice setup to find that T-Spin underneath, continuing this relentless APM despite the early risk.
Oh my gosh, 10 back-to-back from RKY. Golden Eggs at the top of the board with no eyepiece in queue, and RKY is going to be taking it for Uoft.
Yeah, what an unfortunate eyepiece misdrop at the top of the board for Golden Eggs. It's always tough when you're in that position. You're canceling the garbage ball. You survive that brutal assault of perfect clears at the start of the game, and then you misdrop your eyepiece. It's happened to everyone. It's happened to many of us, except you and me, and in this case, it happened during CTL Grand Finals. It's just really unfortunate, but I think Golden Eggs played well considering, again, they were up against the monster that is RKY.
Yeah, RKY really going for the hole-in-one with that golf there. That's crazy. Making pars. I don't play golf. That's all I know. That's all I know. My dad's a golf fanatic. No.
I mean, you did get 1 point against RKY. That is definitely more than I think most people expect anyone to get against RKY. I think RKY in last year's CTL dropped only a single round in group stage. So yeah. So I think it's good for UCLA that they were able to take that 1 point, but it's also good for Uoft because now they've used their strongest weapon against someone that's not Caboozled Pie. So I think it'll be really interesting to see what Uoft's captain Potaflo decides for this next draft.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot that's going into this. 3 players left, and at this point for the 3rd game, it's very, very huge for the rest of the match here, because if you how does it work again? I think if you lose the 3rd game, you get.
Yeah, you basically have to decide the next 2 matches because of how the picking system works.
Definitely a lot of meta gameplay from the counter picking and the picking strats in general from CTL, and we're really, really seeing that shine in this game right here. I believe that UCLA has selected Oxford Valley as their next player.
UCLA have selected Oxford Valley, and Uoft have selected Chamusuke. These are both the lowest ranked players on each team, but we definitely do see a rank advantage on Tramusuke's side. Previously in the sets, Oxford Valley will have, or previously in all of UCLA's rounds, Oxford Valley has been sent out first, but in this case, it sends out Red Guy first. And I think by trying to send out Oxford Valley here, UCLA and UFT might both be trying to go for a round 3 sort of play. But I think whichever one is capable of going for this play, it all depends on how well they do. Because as you know from this format and from other matches you may have watched, especially the match that these guys played previously on stream during the Swiss stage, UCLA did go for that losing round 3 gambits. But I think in this case, since the scores are so close, and especially UCLA is at a slight disadvantage right now, if one of these teams can get up to 6 points in a dominant fashion, they put the other team in an extremely rough spot. Because
Absolutely.
I don't think any of these teams can actually afford to quote-unquote forfeit early if they are going to that round 3 play.
But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot going into this match, and both these players are going to give it their all in order to come out on top here. And even in the warm-up, we can see both of them are trying as hard as they possibly can. Oxford Valley going with back-to-back 7 online, maintaining it, keeping it alive, and trying to find some more offense here.
He's going to take it slow after that, though, trying to squeeze out that last bit of APM, and it is going to pay off. Oxford Valley wins the warm-up, and again, we'll see how this pans out going to the rest of the game.
Alright, 67 line and sent and 64. It's looking really, really close between both of these players. But who knows, maybe Oxford Valley's Dance Dance Revolution skills are going to come in handy for this match. Dancing through those T-spin setups, who knows?
Oxford Valley definitely not afraid to dance with his opponent here as we enter the first round of set 3. Tramusuke going for a BT cannon, I think, but had the slight misshot at the beginning, completely unfazed, continuing the rest of that setup. And now Oxford Valley has the counter spike available.
Yeah, not looking good for Tramusuke right now. At the top of their board, looking for this down stack. Oxford Valley needs to find this punish early on, or else Tramusuke is going to make it out, which I believe they are going to.
Some good skims from Tramusuke, but that O piece I think definitely was a misshot. You do not want to place that O piece there, and I think no matter what happens here, this round is over.
Yeah, a little bit of a commentator's curse there. Tramusuke kind of fumbled the down stack for a bit, but it is only the first round of many to go.
For sure. And yeah, Tramusuke gonna go for the TKI going into the LST into this next part. And we'll see if that can pay off here. I think Uoft is definitely banking for Tramusuke to take as many points as possible in this, but you know, same with UCLA.
Yeah, and speaking of points, Oxford Valley taking their second point here and getting ready for the next round here. I don't know, Tramusuke does have a bit of a score deficit, but I'm sure they're going to be coming back, especially with this nice MS2 coming up.
MS2, a very powerful opener. Not going to transition that into any of the perfect clear follow-ups, but still will send, or not send the T-spin garbage over rather. Oxford Valley was able to block a bunch of it, and what is going on there on Oxford Valley's board?
It seems
bit
to
of lag,
slightly frozen, but Tramusuke is going to pressure on it, and it's back to normal for now.
Definitely, and yeah, I don't know how lag would negatively or positively impact you in this case, though. But do you think, Cowbow?
I think definitely lag spikes are a thing. If you guys aren't familiar, lag spikes happen when the player will freeze for a bit, and then all of a sudden you get a massive spike of garbage because the server is updated. So that is something that is extremely powerful, but not something we would endorse doing on purpose or whatever. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, hard to control, and definitely not something you can always use to your advantage, especially since it's, again, inconsistent. And you know, while you're trying to summon a spike out of nowhere, so is your opponent, right? Your opponent is also sending garbage to you. So probably not going to impact either team, and hopefully no more lag from here on out. But yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of if that does occur.
Yeah, but you know, Oxford Valley not lagging behind in the APM here, going with some pretty solid attacks to Tramusuke, who is looking to clean up their 9-0 well very nicely.
Tramusuke in a pretty solid board position. I think he will be needing to, play a bit aggressively in order to find some spikes to, close out Oxford Valley's game, as he is down, 2 points. But I think it always goes to your preferred playstyle in this case. And if you prefer to play safe, as how a lot of players have been lowering players in the past, to just today, then maybe that is a better playstyle.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. It's still very conservative from both players, looking to keep that super clean and not let their opponent find any kind of edge over them. I don't know. It's still back and forth between both, but I don't know. Versus and APM are looking comparable from both sides. Although Oxford Valley not looking too good with these misdrops.
Yeah, SC misdrops always a pain to deal with, and we'll have to spend an eyepiece to deal with it, but it's going to be out alive. And this round definitely a lot slower than the previous round. I think there's been a lot of skimming on both sides.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, you know what? Skimming is... It might not win you the game, but it also will not lose you. Like we talked before about defensive strategy, it is definitely viable to stay super clean and safe and wait for your opponent to make those mistakes instead of you.
Yeah, definitely. But again, it's skimming continuously against a component who can potentially set up those attacks is dangerous. And Tramuske there initiated the first attack earlier and follows up with some nice T-spins and spike attacks in order to close out this round. Finally on the board, hoping to take many more points.
Yeah, it seems like Oxford Valley had a bit of a misdrop there, but I'm sure they're going to be fixing it up real nice for this next round here. Tramuske building up pretty nice into sort of a 3-wide shape, but not getting too much of a combo off of it. And Oxford Valley spiking hard and going into the 8-1 stack, which is actually pretty good for them, except for this misdrop.
The A1 stack can be good for a short time, but it's definitely not something you want to spend extended time doing, especially, you're going to have to spend a lot of eyepieces or doing skimming, which breaks back to back. Fortunately, Oxford Valley is finally out of that, while Tramuske's attacks, although powerful, are not enough to close out this round.
Yeah, I don't know, Oxford Valley does have a pretty nice 9-0 stack coming up. Tramuske tries to punish the board state, but Oxford Valley does have cancel and are able to survive the attacks.
Yeah, Tramuske had some nice back-to-back building, but had to break it, unfortunately, and we are going back to a more neutral state at this point. I think both these players are, they go for some of these big spikes, but nothing overly greedy, and that does cause the round to get longer and longer, I do believe.
Yeah, I know Oxford Valley does seem to struggle with misdrops a little bit more than Tramuske here. Even though they have a score advantage, it's definitely a nice time for Tramuske to punish off of the board states that Oxford Valley gets himself into.
But Tramuske right there, a bit slow on the punish, which allowed Oxford Valley to send a bit of pressure, but Tramuske is going to accept most of that garbage. A bit of cheese, but a nice clean wall to potentially work with as you down down there. But again, I think just accepting a 4 clean well while accepting cheese as well is not always the best play, because you have to break your back-to-back to get through that cheese unless you do a good T-spin. And it's hard to build an attack on top of that, especially since, again, I think these players are definitely not as experienced establishing these major attacks. Tramuske actually not a good downside decision there.
Yeah, very tough to use up the eyepiece from Tramuske's side, leaving them without a way to get down, and Oxford Valley takes their 3rd round. I feel like a big point of this game right here is that both these players are very defensive and they don't build up too much back-to-back, so waiting for your opponent to make those mistakes first seems to be a common theme from both. But 24 spike from the MS2, Tramuske sending Oxford Valley straight up into the sky from the MS2. I've seen that so many times in my Tetra League games, and I'm super glad to see it represented here.
Yeah, there's the power of the C-spin opener. When it works out, it really does work out. And Tramuske, undeterred, going for another MS2 straight away. If it works, it works. And MS2 and opener that can be built every single round. Following up with the PC and going to TKI. Perhaps not doing the DPC continuation of that.
Yeah, I know Tramuske looking to find a punish, but not able to, unfortunately for them. And Oxford Valley is counter-spiking really hard with this 15 spike.
Yeah, and that's actually going to close out this round. Unfortunately, not able to close it out from the MS2. And I think there's the other side of the coin, right? When you do send all that with the MS2, all that garbage is very clean. The T-spin double, the T-spin triple, and the perfectly afterwards. But here comes the Hachi spin.
Oh, Doue's favorite opener here, showing representation as well. And Tramuske is going back-to-back 3 into a nice LST shape off of the Hachi spin. Love to see it.
Yeah, nice 60 stack there from the Hachi spin. I think Hachi spin's advantage is that it transitions to mid game very nicely, usually with an LST, but could go for other stacking. If you find the PC, obviously that's good too, because you can follow the PC, but yeah, unfortunately Tramuske not able to find a kill off it, but is going to be in a nice mid-game spot, looking to do some skims to get into a slightly safer place, and that's a nice garbage well spawn right under Tramuske as well.
Oh, Tramuske is keeping back-to-back as well, or not, never mind. Keeping it safe instead, trying to find a nice place first. Oh, waiting to accept maybe. Chumusuke sends up a 10 spike, but Oxford Valley is spiking back equally hard, and both these players are at a standstill yet again.
Yeah, it's definitely getting intense here. Chumusuke probably could have... Actually, no, I think it was the right decision to play it safer, especially since I think Greeting slightly in the past has gone Chumusuke put in very dangerous spots, so opting to play it safer is ideally the right play for him. But definitely going to have to switch things up one way or another, because Oxford Valley survival is quite strong against Chumusuke, and in what he's been doing hasn't always been working.
Yeah, I don't know, it's still close between both of them. I feel like in order to find enough leverage to top out your opponent, you can't always wait for the misdrops. Sometimes you have to be the one to build up the attack, and it seems like Oxford Valley is going to be taking that to heart right as I say that, building up a back-to-back 2 with a super clean center well.
Yeah, and Chumusuke breaking a lot of back-to-back on these down stacks every time. It's definitely rough, because I think building up huge back-to-backs is always a big way to top out your opponent there. Nice combo from Oxford Valley to spike up Chumusuke as I say that, but it's going to be returned right with a counter spike, and here's
oh
the big
my god,
explosive
25
one.
spike from Chumusuke. Incredible attack coming out, and I think that they might be camping the way this game is getting intense. I'm so sorry. Here's back to the game. MS3 from Chumusuke coming out, and Oxford Valley going with a nice PCO.
Yeah, I mean, Chumusuke may have been camping, but he's definitely not out of the woods yet. Oxford Valley with a pretty big advantage, but Chumusuke now following up with the MS2 with the perfect clear. Oxford Valley having to do a bit of downstacking, and Chumusuke unfortunately not, or I said unfortunately, but I think it's very fortunate now. Mountainous stacking 2 finally paying off. Had to pressure a bit under it, but did take advantage of it in the end.
Yeah, 4-4 between both players, looking very, very close. And we'll have to see what they do. It seems like TKF from both players. Chumusuke is going to be on the offense here, and I believe Oxford Valley might be waiting to just counter spike off the garbage.
Yeah, here we go. Chumusuke going for a 7-2 stack, but it's not an even one. Cannot find too many T-spins off that. Gonna have to take the Tetris and break out as soon as he can, or even it out. But while we say that Oxford Valley misdrops at the bottom of the board, so while still safe, is not in a position to pressure at all. Both players need to take it slow a bit, but as they say that, Chumusuke...
Oh! Yeah, the pressure is definitely on for Oxford Valley as Chumusuke now takes a lead in the game here.
And Chumusuke in the chat has actually decided after taking that 5th round to forfeit, I believe, actually.
Wait, what?
Yeah, actually going to the 5th point.
Interesting. Huh. I don't know what the precedent for this one is, but I assume that this is allowed, so
yeah, this is allowed. This is a valid play you have been allowed to make in CTL. So yeah. Because the rule set for CTL is, and I think both teams do know this, is that at any point in the game you're allowed to forfeit, and also the fact that if you lose a set you are allowed to counter pick for the next set. And obviously forfeiting means that your opponent gets all the points. But now, Uoft gets to decide the future points. Forfeiting on, and I think one question might be forfeit on point 5 and why not on point 6? That might be because if Chumusuke did reach point 6, they might have been predicting that the opponent would forfeit, which is, you know...
Oh. Wait, my brain is hurting. So with the forfeit, they lose the game, so that gives the opposing team an extra point, right? But they had... So it's equal then, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I do believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is definitely like a quirk of the rule set that probably will be changing next year, so it's less prevalent. But you know,
the CTL buff nerf system
it has happened
crazy.
in the season. People do leverage the counterpick format to their own advantage, and definitely some crazy things happen here.
And I will say it makes it more interesting because, you know, if you went to any other Tetris tournament, you wouldn't really be seeing these kind of macro game strats across teams like this. But the 5v5 crew battles format is one that CTL has. It's pretty unique to just us, and you will see more unique strategies just like this.
Yeah, for sure. And I do believe that